When last we left off, Gaelen, Faewyn, and Lignyck were standing over a backpack that belongs to Skippy, and it's full of stuff. They don't know where Grun or Skippy have gotten off to.
Gaelen, is all of Skippy's stuff in here?
Gaelen will tear into his backpack and see if the book's there.
The book is not there, and there are other certain things that he possessed that aren't in here as well. The bag is stuffed full of stuff, but most of it is what you would call easily replaceable stuff.
So none of the books?
Nope.
Have I seen any of the books that are missing?
You might have seen them at some point.
I thought some of the books were given to the gnomes.
Well, I've got the light dark book toy one.
the book toy.
Yes, it's my book toy. I'll share.
So Gaelen, looking for the book, he just looks up and goes, "The book's not here."
I don't think you guys have showed me that book yet. I was going to read it for you.
My halfling's not here.
You've shown me that, but he's not here. And if you know something else I've seen, I could try and find that's missing from the pack.
You mean something of Kin Skippy's?
If you want me to find him, yes.
If he's alive, that crossbow is still with him.
And I would have seen that, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So, you want me to look for that?
I guess so.
Before you begin casting your spell to find his crossbow, a bird flutters over and lands on the ground beside you and transforms into an elf. And she looks at Gaelen and says, "You are Gaelen, friend of Grun, are you not?"
I want to do that.
Do I not recognize?
You recognize Philorana.
Gem Elder Philorana. Yes. For a moment, I thought you were Noble Sarika, the witch bird lady.
I know not Sarika. However, I have urgent news about your friend Grun. He was attacked in the Grove of Storms and is in urgent need of your aid.
You want to find that one of your group?
I think so. He's in urgent need of our aid, and that didn't take him hardly any time at all.
Faewyn will lean into the elf and say, he loses his group a lot, it seems.
He did well not to lose them in the Fey bubbles.
Good job!
Thank you. Normally, I would... So we know where King Grun is?
Yes, if you'll follow me to the Grove of the Storm, I will take you to him.
Yes, I will follow. Thank you. Noble Gnomes, does that make sense?
Yeah, you keep losing them. Let's go find one. We'll go get one. It'll be good.
All right. We will find and punish Kin Skippy's torturer later.
What?
I just assume he's been kidnapped and is being interrogated.
You lose them good. Wow.
Philorana turns, ignoring your conversation, and immediately starts running towards the grove.
Leaving the gnomes behind quite quickly.
Gaelen will stick with her.
Hopping on Krabby.
Noble Lignyck, perhaps you can bring Noble Faewyn with you.
Would my mount be big enough to do that?
That's a good question.
Especially considering I'm freakishly large, right?
Freakishly tall gnome? That's a really good question. I don't know if Faewyn would be able to keep up. She might fall a bit behind, but it's not too far to the grove.
She'll follow as quickly as she can.
Okay.
Gaelen will do whatever he can to try and keep Philorana and Faewyn inside.
Okay. So you get to the crossroads before the Grove of the Storm, and she beckons you in amongst the trees.
I will follow her.
Yeah, you can follow.
I'm still following too as long as I can see.
So you guys get into the grove, and you see a couple of other druids alongside Philorana standing over Grun, who is laying bloody and bandaged in the grass.
Lignyck, can you help?
It's just for stabilizing?
He appears to have already been stabilized, but he's just lying there unconscious.
Unconscious but stable.
Yep. All right, Grun, you receive 9 points of healing and are conscious once more. And when you wake up, you see 3 druids, Gaelen and Lignyck, all standing over you.
Gaelen will grab him by the scruff and help him to his feet.
Ow! 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 I'm just gonna cough up a little bit of blood, I'm sure, and spit that out.
You're lucky you're not dead, Kin Grun, or I was going to kill you.
I think I was dead for at least a moment.
Who attacked you?
The avatar I spoke of in my letter, which I'm now embarrassed to have written. Corollaire Stormbow, right? Stormbow.
The Avatar Corlin Larithian, the good god,
Correct.
murdered you.
I came to attempt to reason with him to plead my case. However, my words were apparently poorly chosen and angered him greatly. And the results are, well, as you can see.
So far in my limited experience as King Grun, it appears that trying to reason with deities seems fruitless.
Indeed, it seems that they are as full of deceit and, well, as full of deceit as any mortals, and just as stubborn and pig-headed.
And at this point, Faewyn and Seraphina join you.
He seems to be alive.
Oh, that's good news.
Yes, just give me a moment to make myself a little bit more comfortable, and I'm going to cast Cure Wounds.
Do we think we're going to be running into this as an ongoing problem of having what otherwise would consider themselves good deities chasing us down?
I did not seek out this confrontation. It was not my intention to fight. Should I not seek them out, I do not believe that we would be in danger. However, it is the task given to me, one of the tasks given to me by Dowreth, along with the aid in raising his own avatar.
What is it that Dowreth asked you to do?
He has asked me to defeat the avatars of the gods as I come across them, to allow him their strength, and to collect the ingredients required to raise his avatar in this world, that he may gain enough power to assist Murgafee. I had hoped to convince the avatars to aid us instead, and prove both sides that their previous tactics were not truly beneficial. As you can see, my first attempt failed rather spectacularly.
It seems, King Grun, that your heart and your motives are in the right place, but you're playing both sides and neither one has your interest at heart.
And as Grun kind of finishes healing up and starts pulling off the bandages, because I've returned myself to full health at this point, he's going to kind of nod his head and said, I'm beginning to see that none of the gods had our interests in mind.
We will not be seeking fights with good avatars in the future, but if you do, and Gaelen will take the shovel off his back and hand it to you, don't do it without me.
Yes, I won't make that mistake again. I'm sorry, Gaelen. I did not want to put you in such a position.
Us, don't do it without us.
Yeah, he was really upset.
Thank you, Faewyn and Lignyck as well. I will not fail to include you in any further endeavors.
Well, thank you, noble gem Filarana, for watching out for him.
It was not I who watched out for him, but the Archdruid. He saw the conflict and intervened when Corollaire was about to end Grun's life.
So the Avatar didn't spare him.
The Archdruid shakes his head and says, No, there was no mercy in Corolaire's heart. He was about to end Grun's life when I stepped in and told him that such execution, in essence, judgment, did not lie with him.
Well, I thank you for applying your wisdom.
Indeed. Thank you, Archdruid. Your assistance saved my life. If there's something I can do for you, please let me know.
I would simply request that you bring no more battles into my grove.
Absolutely.
I can swear to that.
Then as far as I'm concerned, it is dealt with and done.
I'd like to take the time to try and figure out whether or not we're going to have this avatar on our tail, but unfortunately we don't really have time. Right now, we are still missing one of our members. It seems, King Grun, that Kin Skippy is missing. I have to assume he's been kidnapped and is being tortured for information regarding the book.
Damn it.
Or he wandered off, but that would make no sense.
Well, actually, after everything that Skippy's been through, I would not be surprised if he had wandered off to try to find some way out of Velshini in secret. Maybe looking for a way for us to get out without the Queen's Guard noticing. I don't think he wants to be here any longer.
The book. Gotta find the book. Oh, where's Skippy?
You're right, Noble Lignyck. The book doesn't seem very safe with only one of us. Noble Faewyn, can you apply your magics to try and find that crossbow?
I could. Are you guys all ready? We don't need to save anybody else first, because if there's somebody else to save first, we should probably do that first.
I agree completely. But if there is someone, well, I guess there is the problem with the Noble Faewyn.
Well, I just don't want to use the spell and then I'll be able to go find Skippy. So if there's anybody we got to save first, we should save them first or get Skippy first, whichever is good with you.
What do you think? Kin Grun? Kin Skippy or Noble Faewyn?
How many people have you lost and are dying?
Oh, Noble Faewyn is probably dead. That will also be my assumption, but I don't know this.
Lignyck, I don't know if they're safe to travel with.
Grin will look at the gnomes if he overhears that and go, I'm not sure we are either. I think we should find Skippy. If he's got the book, apparently the Archdruid may know of a way to destroy it, which would keep it from the hands of Lucius and prevent the resurrection of Glothor.
Is that the one I was going to read? I don't want to destroy a book I'm going to read.
Well, I think perhaps you'd read it before we destroyed it.
Okay, but if I really like it, can we keep it? Because if I really like it, I won't want to destroy it.
It's a book to help bring about the resurrection of an incredibly powerful undead lich who would destroy the world and bring about just an undead reign.
I don't want it to rain undead beings. No, that doesn't sound good.
We are working on the assumption that book brings nothing but bad.
Raining undead, make a whole bunch of mess.
Oh yeah, let's go find Skippy.
Lead the way, Noble Faewyn.
I see that you cast Locate Object, and you do get a sense that what you're looking for, the hand crossbow, is to the northwest, back the direction you came.
Okay, well, Faewyn will start skipping in the direction that she is following. She's assuming people are going to follow her, but she's not checking. She's just now on a treasure hunt. And she kind of trots off and weaves in any direction that it seems like is a good idea to go finding this.
You guys head back following the spell, and it brings you back to the Unicorn Tail Inn.
Hey! Can I see? Do I find it inside the inn?
Well, you get to the door of the inn.
Okay, I go in.
Gaelen, as you enter, the innkeeper looks up and says, Master Gaelen. Yes, your host is awaiting you in the back room there, straight ahead.
Faewyn ignores that and just goes to wherever the crossbow is. She's following the spell.
The spell is actually pointing you towards the back room that the innkeeper suggested.
Great, she trots right in.
Not too quickly, Noble Faewyn. I'm thinking my host may have already eaten my halfling.
What?
You know who our host is?
No, I have no idea, Kin Grun.
You make weird friends. You can go first.
You open the door to the back room and see a shadowy figure sitting just outside the ring of the guttering candlelight. Grun, you do notice Jinxie off in the corner. Gaelen does not, and Faewyn certainly doesn't.
No.
She found the door.
She's still looking for that bow.
The bow is on the shadowy figure on the other side of the table.
Were you followed?
Skippy! And she hugs him.
What? Hey! I just met you.
Yeah, but I've been looking for you. We're here to rescue you. We rescued Grun already.
Well, I don't need rescuing. Why did Grun need rescuing?
Because he was dead.
I think he's been mostly dead all day.
Why did you die, Grun?
Because he's an idiot.
Yes, I'm an idiot who attempted to negotiate with a god. Again.
He's my idiot.
Well, get the other Lignyck, is it? Get him in here and shut the door. We have to talk.
Skippy, what happened to your face?
I had to change my appearance. After the charades yesterday, I couldn't be recognized anymore. So I changed back to the way I was before-ish. Plus a few scars.
Yeah, you do look different now that you mention it.
Well, the scars do look good, but so did the age.
You can play with time.
Skippy will pull out his backpack and pull out the book and put it down on the table and say, "We need to read this now."
Oh, good.
Oh, cool.
Because we didn't know where you were, we didn't know where that was. It's good to see that it's intact. And that you are.
Well, I can read it if you want.
Skippy will slide it over to her.
I don't know if anyone would recognize you, Skippy. I think you did a pretty good job of hiding behind Jinxie the whole time you were at the ceremony. But now they won't for sure.
You don't understand. We've been under surveillance since we got here.
Who's been watching us?
And have they been watching me too?
The underworld is one group that was watching us, and if they could keep track of us, how could anyone not have seen what happened yesterday?
Well, once we get this book read, and hopefully if we can speak to the Archdruid again about maybe a means by which this book could be destroyed.
What? The book can be destroyed?
Possibly. We don't know. The Archdruid may know of a way, but if we can read this book first and ascertain its contents, it gives us a better idea when we speak to him what we can do, and that might help us decide our next move.
I can read it, but it'll take me a bit.
Well, take your time.
I wouldn't mind sitting down for a bit.
You hear a knock at the door.
I quickly snatch the book and stuff it in the backpack and then under the table.
I'll open the door once that's done.
The innkeeper's standing there with a couple of menus in hand and hands them to you, Grun, and says, "If you want any food, here's the menu for the day. Just come and let me know what you'd like to eat."
Thank you. Could you see that we're not disturbed for the next little while?
Yes, indeed.
Thank you. And I'll put the menus on the table.
Skippy will kind of breathe heavily for a moment and then look up and grab the bag and say, "Okay, let's get to work."
Yeah, I like books. Can I read the book?
I slide it back over again.
The book is in runes that you don't recognize, Faewyn.
We should probably give the other books to Noble Faewyn as well, as she does like to read.
I can read too. I can read while she's reading.
So it'll take me a little while. How big is this book?
It is roughly 400 pages. So I did the math, and it's going to take you about 8 hours to read it, casting Comprehend Languages 7 times. I assume as a ritual spell.
So yeah, I'm going to be here most of the day.
Noble Faewyn, you don't need to read it all at once.
Have you ever read a book before? Because you were talking to me about this whole drinking alcohol thing. I don't think you know how to read books right.
That is entirely possible.
Okay, so it'll take me most of the day. Do we have this room for the day?
Then we have to guard her. I'm sure we have this room as long as we have coin.
Well, then I'm definitely going to get everybody food.
I'm not leaving the book.
I'm not leaving a book either.
Well, I could definitely eat.
I am casting Alarm as a ritual, while she is casting her first read language or comprehend language as a ritual.
Okay. And Lignyck, you had mentioned that you wanted to read as well, correct?
Yes.
Did you want to read the autobiography of Archwizard Yincielo or the Ancient History of the Elves?
Yes, but
Oh, I'm so jealous.
the elves first.
So many books. You guys are really good people. I like you guys.
Lignyck also looks at the menu and mutters how they don't have hazelnut bread and sausage.
Oh,
Is Seraphina in here with me? Is she happy being in or no?
you could have brought her in with you if you'd like. Right now she's sitting outside the inn because you guys charged in, but they are with you.
Gaelen, do you know if you were followed?
No, I have no idea.
This is something that we're going to have to start thinking about.
So, Faewyn and Lignyck, you should see new book entries in your list of journals, so you can read through those at your leisure over the next 8 hours.
I have a couple of errands I need to run. Do you think that you will read in this room or in your
Faewyn's already reading, so.
Okay, Gaelen will talk to her like he thinks she can hear him.
Skippy is intently watching her read, like he could help.
All right. Well, I guess you're staying in this room then. King Grun, were you going to come with me?
Yes, do you mind if I eat first?
I know some stuff already, guys.
Seems like dying brings you an appetite. Yes.
Very quickly, when I set the alarm, I set it where it would not activate on anybody that is currently in the room or the serving people or the staff who brought us the menus.
Okay.
So, guys, I know we have to go to the Hidden Sanctuary to destroy the book if we want to.
Does it have a map?
Don't know yet. Still reading.
Well, if you ever find a map, let me know. I'm good with those.
You're good at things. Great.
So no one else is hungry? We're getting food for King Grun.
Food's good, like food.
All right then. Noble
I'll be
Lignyck.
getting Faewyn's order as well.
What's in the menu?
There's boiled shark and leek with a tankard of ale, stewed pork and dried watercress with a tankard of beer, boiled pork and oat bread with a tankard of stout, pickled pork and millet bread with a tankard of mead, and roasted sausage and dried leek with a tankard of ale.
Lignyck, not quite as engrossed as Faewyn is in the book, says, "Sausage and leek, please."
Okay, I'm covering for everybody.
Get me the roasted sausage and leek as well, but I don't want the ale. I just want water.
Okay, I can swap that.
Noble Faewyn. Food?
Food's good, yeah.
Noble Faewyn. Sausages?
Yeah.
Faewyn's
food.
already asked for the pickled pork.
Oh, sorry. I guess I wasn't paying attention.
Tension's good, yeah.
Okay, we'll go to the innkeeper, get the orders, and pay for everybody. It's my apology, and then I'll also get something for Jinxie, and then I'll trade both Skippy and my mead for water.
Okay.
Once Grun walks out of the room, Lignyck looks up and says, whose avatar did you say he was fighting that smacked him down?
Corlin Larethians.
Okay.
Isn't that a good god?
Yes, it is. And fairly major one.
Why is he attacking good gods?
Gods can be good, gods can be bad. Yeah.
Well, I get the impression that their battle was, I don't know, ordained or something. And it sounds like he tried to be reasonable and negotiate his way out of it. But it seems to me that the gods tend to have already made their minds up.
And who did he say that he worshipped?
He's a cleric of Dowreth.
Dowreth.
I did leave that out of the introduction at the ceremony. Oh, good. He can get a tattoo now. And it'll be a good one. Not everyone gets a tattoo of an avatar of a major god. That's much better than the one on my back with a bug swarm.
I don't think I get the whole tattoo thing.
It's a tribute to the things that have bested you in combat. The key to remember is that you're still here to celebrate those losses.
Just seems kind of dumb to put them on your skin. Have you tried, like, painting a picture of it?
I draw all kinds of pictures. Only the important things get a piece of skin.
Then you should get a tattoo of the book, because that's what's important.
You could get a tattoo of one of those shadows, Kinskippy. You were felled by one.
Where is he with that food?
Yeah, I wasn't sure really how long it would actually take.
It's fine. They'll bring the food to you once you put in the order. So, is there anything else that you guys want to discuss while Lignyck and Faewyn do the exciting job of reading books?
No, Skippy is like, I envision him like trying to help her read, like arranging, like when she goes to reach for something, like he slides it closer so that she can grab it, and when she's like hesitating to turn a page, he'll like almost like reach out to like grab the page to turn it. Getting in her business a little bit, but nicely.
If it's helpful, then she doesn't even notice except for murmurs happily at him occasionally. But yeah, she's totally engrossed with him.
He's like a pianist's assistant who's flipping the pages.
That's right.
Grun and Gaelen, is there anything that you guys are doing?
King Grun, once we've eaten, are you going to accompany me? I need to go and see my mother, and I'm hoping to swing by the tattoo shop and probably leave my tattoo with them to do what they need to do to upgrade it.
Yes, I'll come with you. I'm quite curious. I mean, quite intrigued to meet your mother.
Yes, I suppose I haven't quite decided whether or not I'm looking forward to it. I'm not often of two minds about something. I'm usually of no minds about something.
I was going to say something similar, but I'm glad you said it first. And Grun will kind of clap him on his shoulders like, come along. I nearly died once. Going to see your mother is really nothing.
Yes, I was going to get you to promise to only die once per day, if at all possible.
If you guys insist on going out, can you do me a favor?
Absolutely, King Skippy.
Try not to make a spectacle of yourselves. And if you can try to make sure nobody follows you back here, that would be a good thing too.
Thank you, King Skippy. That does remind me. Noble Faewyn, can I leave this medal with you? And
Medals? What kind of medal? Yeah, it's probably good. I like metal.
Okay, I'm not saying anything. Ignore me. Noble Lignyck.
Just give it to me. Here. Give it to me.
Grun hands his over as well.
Noble Lignyck, can you do whatever mumbo jumbo you do to see if there's anything funny about these medals? My father was involved, and I don't trust them.
Oh, and one last thing. Try not to get drunk.
No, I half filled my flask today, and that is the amount I'm allowed to. But thank you for looking out for me.
Grun will look surprised at the half flask comment. I'm even more curious now.
Faewyn.
Lignyck.
Faewyn.
Lignyck, I'm reading.
Put down the book.
Lignyck, I'm reading.
You need to put down the book.
She will huff, she will look up, and she will glare at him. It's a book, Lignyck.
They want to know if these things are trouble so that someone doesn't come and steal the book.
Ryan, can you tell me where I am in terms of my rituals? Is this going to break? I can't do both of them, can I? Double checking. Comprehend languages is not concentration,
Yeah,
but
you
it
can
would
do
use
both.
10 minutes of my reading.
That's right.
Is this important?
There's no rush. There is absolutely no rush. I'm happy to leave it. I'm not going to wear it anyway.
Does somebody want my book? And if you leave this with me, are they going to take the book? Because I'm reading.
Okay, fine. Lignyck cast our detect magic.
They are not magical.
Are you going to do that as a ritual? That way it doesn't
No.
cost you your slot.
No, I'm casting it as a spell because Faewyn got on my nerves.
She sees everything's been resolved and goes back to reading.
Thank you, Noble Lignyck.
There's no magic on him at all. Let me look at him for a second, though.
Absolutely. You can keep it if you'd like.
I'm going to pull up my Tinkerer's tools, and I'm going to do a quick once over them to double check that there is nothing mechanical in them that would also serve as a notification device or such.
No, you don't see anything mechanical about them at all. And as you finish looking over the medals, there's a knock on the door.
Who's here?
Yep, the innkeeper's here and hands you guys plates and does a couple of trips to bring everything over to you.
So just so I understand, you're going to talk to Gaelen. Gaelen's mom again?
Yes, that is the idea.
I'm gonna have some questions for Grun when he gets back. There's some stuff I'm reading. I want to get some answers from him and see if he can explain some things for me. But it can wait.
As you wish.
I can always talk and eat.
It'll wait. There's a few more things I want to read up on first before I ask questions. So
If you wanted to ask him if he was going to die again today, I've already asked him not to.
I'll try not to die again this lifetime.
Okay, so you guys enjoy your mid-morning food, and Gaelen and Grun, you're going where?
So Gaelen would like to go to his mother's via the tattooists.
Okay, so you head to the tattooist shop, and you do see that they are both in there and working away.
Good day to you both.
Good day, sir.
I wanted to give you my condolences for your loss.
Thank you, sir. It's been difficult, but we're working on in her memory to keep the shop running as best we can.
I am certain that Noble Gem Belaniera has made good apprentices of both of you, and that you will carry on nobly. If I may ask, I do need your services.
Well, we are here to serve. What can we do for you?
I have this tattoo, and he gestures to his skull cap. It is a magical tattoo, and it is a partial. For one reason or another, it just never was completed. It's an Elder's Claw tattoo, and it's mostly finished. It just needs to be topped up. Are you capable of doing that? I can leave the tattoo with you if need be.
Yes, I have begun training with magical tattoos. I would be able to complete it for you.
Thank you. I would appreciate it.
Can I see how much work has been done already, please?
I will find the needle that goes with my tattoo and give them that.
So he takes a look at it and says, "Oh, I should be able to finish this up for you. The rest of the work. Let me think about it a moment. Perhaps another 250 gold to complete the work."
Okay, thank you. I can give you 100 now and the rest later.
Certainly.
Again, thank you.
Well, it's my pleasure.
King Grun, shall we?
Yeah. Sorry, you're not doing it right now?
I assumed that I needed to leave you the needle. Is that correct?
Yes, I'll need the needle.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you actually had to get the tattoo on.
No, King Grun, the magical tattoos are actually much more lickety-split than conventional ones. They can be removed, moved, put on other people.
Oh, wow. I never knew your tattoos were so different, so mystical. That's fascinating.
Yeah, just this one. Points at his head. The rest of them are all conventional.
Well, still, that's all amazing. Yes, we can go whenever you're ready.
If you're interested, I'm sure that they could show you some of the magical tattoos that they have. You might be interested. Just think of them as any other magical item.
I will say, I mean, when I was growing up, I did always admire your tattoos, and I mean, Father Sean, bless him be, and Grun makes the standard gestures he would. Isn't really here to say anything about it. Yeah, I mean, there's no harm in looking.
Noble Gem Eloise, do you have some magical tattoos on stock that we might be able to look at?
There are some rather basic ones that Velinyara put together before her death.
Could I have a look at them, please?
Certainly. And she goes and pulls out a handful of needles. Okay, I'm going to send this link to Grun so that he can see what there is. Actually, I'll just post it publicly in case anybody wants magic tattoos.
Now, I assume the legendary ones are not available.
No, definitely not. So there is both of the common tattoos there. They have a couple of each. So there's the Masquerade tattoo, which allows you to disguise self, and the Illuminator's tattoo.
Yeah, Gaelen has looked at that because it lets you write just normally with your finger as if it was a ink pen.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
If you wanted to get in good with Faewyn, you figured that might be an option as well.
Well, yeah, but she wants to write with it. He wants to graffiti everything.
Yeah, fair enough. They use things differently.
How much for a masquerade tattoo?
Given that they're common, I don't think they would be too expensive. I'd say probably 100 gold for a common.
King Grun, I don't suppose you have on you enough to front me the rest of the cost of my tattoo upgrade?
In one moment, I don't think so. I can spot you 50 gold worth.
Actually, King Grun, I'm also an idiot. At which point, Gaelen will reach in and pull out of his backpack his own pouch from the Queen and Grun's and give Grun his.
How much is in this, Ryan?
200 gold in each.
Grun's eyes will go wide.
I'll pay the remainder of my debt.
Okay.
Grun's just going to stand there in shock for a minute and say, where did this money come from?
That was monies from the Queen. It comes part and parcel with your tutor.
The tutor. I tried to give it away. I wasn't sure I'd get a chance to use them. Yeah, I guess we should probably go see about that today while we're out.
Yes, absolutely. We need someone to be able to handle that caravan. Where we're going, the roads will not be nice.
Yes. I will purchase the Eldritch Claw tattoo.
Okay. That will be 500 gold pieces.
I will not purchase the Eldritch Claw tattoo. I'm not dipping into party funds for that.
You don't really use your unarmed strikes anyway, right?
No, but I was kind of thinking, depending on the cost, it wouldn't be bad to have as like, one of those backup moment of, options. But for 500 gold, no.
Right, as a backup.
Yeah, but that Illuminator script though, would that be the same as the Masquerade?
Yeah, that's 100 gold.
Okay, I will turn over half of the bag for the Illuminator's tattoo.
And King Grun, I don't think it's outrageous to think that King Skippy might be interested in that Masquerade tattoo. I think we probably have it in party funds, no?
How much in the Masquerade was the same, 100, right?
Yeah.
Grun will spend the other 100 because he was going to put the rest into party funds anyways.
Okay.
Oh, thanks, guys.
They thank you very much for your business.
Thank you, and we hope that your business flourishes.
And again, so sorry that things went the way they went.
Thank you, sir.
All right, off to see Mom.
Gaelen and Grun, can you give me insight checks, please? Or perception first. Oh, you don't get an insight check, Gaelen, because you don't notice. So, Gaelen, you're kind of lost in thought as you're wandering your way towards your mother's house. Grun, you notice that there's quite a lot of activity on the streets this morning. And it is about 11 o'clock in the morning now. There's a lot of movement, both of civilians and soldiers. You can give me an insight check. But maybe they're just doing standard drills on the wall. You've seen the soldiers up on the walls firing arrows off into the ever-present zombies that keep staggering up. So maybe it's just nothing to worry about. And you wander your way through the city until you come to find where Galen's mother now lives.
Gaelen will stand out front, staring at the door.
If Gaelen stands there long enough without doing anything, Grun's going to look at him and say, either you're knocking or I am.
Oh, yeah. All right, I'll knock.
It's a moment before the door opens, and you see your mother before you, and she looks like she hasn't aged a day. But she looks at you without recognition at first and says, "Yes, I'm sorry, I'm terribly busy. What can I do for you?"
You, Gem Mother, have not aged a day
Gaelen!
in 100.
And she leaps through the door at you and wraps her arms around you and starts crying happy tears immediately.
Yes, King Grun, it's been a century, so this will take a moment.
Gaelen, your father told me that you were back in the city, and I've just been waiting for you, and then he came, and he dropped off these things for you, and he didn't tell me what was going on, and I'm so scared, Gaelen.
Why are you scared, Gem Mother?
Come with me, you'll see. And she immediately runs into the house.
Gaelen will give Grun a quick look and then head in right after.
Grun will follow in and close the door and just stay in the doorway.
Okay. Gaelen, she leads you through a couple of rooms and brings you to the kitchen. And there on the counter, you see a few items laid out. There's a scroll and another piece of paper that's flattened up, and also a sword on the counter.
Do I recognize any of these things?
Give me a history check.
Oh, I'm good at this.
Nope, none of them are familiar to you at all. But as you enter the room, she picks up the flattened piece of paper and hands it to you. And you can see that it's a letter in the familiar writing of your father. You haven't seen his writing in over 100 years, but you still recognize it. And it says, "Gaelen, my son, I am sorry for what came between us. I know you won't believe me, but from the moment of your birth, I have always loved you more than anybody else in this entire world. And I was shunned from my own family for falling in love with your mother and having you. But it was a price that I was willing to pay every day. Even as you grew and grew more rebellious," and he underlines this word, "my love for you never faltered. I went from being an unknown bard to working for the Queen herself. And it was always with you in my heart that I did these things, wanting you to have a better life. And I wish you could have been here to see it. There is one more gift that you must take now, and it is with a heavy heart that I give it to you. Take this deed. It's yours now. Your mother will knight you, and you must flee the city. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you this in person, but I must be at the castle now to try to make order of things after the Queen's death. And he signs his name at the bottom.
Sideways. That's how things tend to go. A nice letter from Gemfather. Somehow made it about himself again. Why do you need to knight me?
I don't really understand. He said something about Sasora being yours, but that doesn't make any sense. How can you own a town?
Correct. No, it does not make any sense.
He just kept muttering that you needed to get to safety, that the Queen said something about your words mattering, and she tried to implement them, but something terrible happened. And she's dead? And he wanted me to knight you using the Queen's own sword? I don't understand what's happening.
No, I also do not understand what is happening, Gem Mother. No, none of this makes any sense. Nope, none of it makes any sense. I'm having trouble figuring this out. King Grun!
As you call out to Grun, she picks up the sword from the counter and says, I must do what your father asked, and brings the sword to your shoulder.
Well, in the face of the Queen's sword, I will take a knee.
And without any ceremony, she knights you, and the sword glows as the ceremony is completed, and you feel a warmth spread through you.
Oh, well, that is something.
Grun, you heard Gaelen call out for you.
Yeah, I came as soon as he called out. I would have started following where I last saw, because you said they went through a few rooms.
Yeah, they went through a couple of rooms, but you don't have any problem finding them.
Okay, so do I get there and to see that, or after that?
You get there just as the sword is glowing, and you see Gaelen on his knees, or on a knee, and then the sword extinguishes.
I feel like I've missed something important, but feel free to fill me in when you're ready.
Ha! Okay, I'm knighted. I think I own a town. But more importantly, Elder Gem Majesty is dead, and we've been told to flee.
How did she die? When did she die?
Apparently, the things that we said to her, she took to heart, and said things along the lines of wanting to implement those changes, and it looks like it has cost her life.
Damn it. I didn't think she would try to implement it the day after.
But why wait?
Well, to at least get some kind of a plan. Not sure I'm one who can speak about that right now, though.
Gem Mother, are you to come with us? Are you in danger?
He didn't say anything about me. My place is with your father. I should stay here and wait for him to return and tell me what the plan is.
I really don't know what to do. I, generally speaking, wouldn't trust my father as far as I could throw him. But why would he be warning me that the Queen is dead? And I don't know what's going on. I'm not smart. King Grun, what do we need to do?
Well, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I just saw this sword glowing, and you've just told me the Queen's dead, and we've been told to flee. I think if we've been told to flee and you believe the source, your mom should be coming with us, and we should be getting out of here. I mean, depending on what happens, there could be civil war about to happen in Velshani. If we get caught up in that, we may never get out. And with the undead threat here, we have to keep that book safe somehow.
Why does he think that I own a town?
He brought the deed. He didn't give me a great many details. He simply said that I was to knight you and Sasora was yours.
Do we know where this Sasora is?
Are we to be safe in Sasora? Is that the idea?
I have no idea. Perhaps. Do you think that... I don't know. I don't know. It was all so fast. And Gaelen, you do know that Sisora is also on Thick Lake. It is to the west of Velshany.
It's to the west of Elshany, and it's on Thick Lake.
Yes.
That's actually not completely inconvenient.
Our previous plan was to head northwest, so
Well, the other option was to use Thick Lake to head to the western shore of Thick Lake, and then we have a thin edge of forest to get through before we're at those mountains. I think in this case, if we're going to Sisora, we should use Thick Lake, go there by sea.
do we know anything about Sisora?
Yeah, apparently I know the guy that owns it.
Other than that, have we heard anything about it? Is it well known, or is it small?
Would I have ever been there?
Probably not, no. It's a fair-sized elven city. Not like a small, nameless village off in the jungle somewhere, but rather a trade town that had trade by boat with Velshany.
Well, unfortunately, Gem Mother, I think that our visit is going to have to be short. I don't even know if I shouldn't be bringing you with me.
And she touches your cheek and smiles and says, "Son, I'm just so pleased to see you, but if what your father says is true, you need to be safe. We can always see each other again."
Gaelen will start gathering up the... I'm assuming he's supposed to take the scroll, or no?
Yep.
What are you supposed to do with that sword, Gem Mother?
I have no idea.
King Grun, if we take this sword with us, and someone is trying to implicate us in the murder of the Queen, this might hurt us. On the other hand, I'm not sure we're supposed to leave it.
Oh, Skippy's gonna kill us, but we need to bring that with us. Can I put that under my cloak, like on my back, so it's covered by my pack and my shovel to hide as much of it as possible?
Yeah, you'll look a little suspicious. Like, it's not going to be easy to hide. It's a full longsword.
Oh, it's a longsword.
Gem Mother, do you have any textiles?
Yes, of course.
If I could have a small bolt, King Grun, we can wrap the sword in a bolt of textiles.
Well, that's much better. You would probably be better off carrying it then. I think my getup would look a little odd carrying a rolled up carpet. Might be some misconceptions.
Damn it. You're probably right. Sometimes I don't like my people. All right, we'll take these things. Gem Mother, I hope it is not another century before I see you. Gaelen will also take the last bottle of wine that he saved from Philorana's Grove, the really expensive wine, and give it to his mother. I saved this for you.
Thank you. Always such a kind boy. Well, I will speak to your father and see about getting a ship to Sisora as soon as I can to visit you there.
Excellent. Take care of yourself, Gem Mother.
You as well. Be safe, Gaelen.
King Grun, let's go.
Yes, and quickly.
Okay, where are you guys going?
We'll take some more back streets back towards the Unicorn Tail.
Straight back to the end.
Sure. On your way back, you do hear people openly weeping about the death of the Queen now. The news has spread like wildfire through the city. And you get back to the Unicorn Tail Inn.
Did the tattoos give me an idea how long it was?
Nope.
When Grun and Gaelen get back in the room, Skippy is kind of melted like a candle and is still trying to help, but doing it with like half of his attention.
Okay.
How is it coming, noble gnomes?
Gnomes, I'm a gnome. Yep.
Kinskippy,
Yeah?
I think we need you to make your way to the docks and see if there is any cargo ships, that kind of thing, heading towards Sisora on the western side of Thick Lake. We will...
Sora? What's in Sora?
Honestly, I'm not sure, but we need to be leaving. We need to leave Velshany as soon as possible. And
Why? What did you guys do now?
I just went to visit my mother.
We didn't do anything. Unfortunately, though, somebody or something has killed the Queen.
The Queen is dead? Why? How did she die?
I don't think we know.
She apparently was already starting to put into place new policies and to affect the positive change that so many are resistant to. And one of those people apparently decided that the way to stop it was to murder her.
At the word murder, Faewyn looks up and goes, "Whoa, what did you guys do?"
Well, I didn't murder the
They
queen.
caught the queen murder.
You murdered? What?
They got the queen murdered.
Why did you guys do? You guys have some very questionable actions.
Grun is gonna move to cuff Skippy, like a
No,
good,
you're
like a
hitting
good
him?
cuff. You have a very bad reaction of picking the worst words to listen to.
You'll have to do a touch attack to get him.
He's not trying that hard. If Skippy's if Skippy's going for the avoid, he's not trying that hard, but like the effort was kind of like there, so Skippy gets what was going.
Why are you hitting him? Why did you try and make the queen dead? She seemed nice enough. She gave me a book to read while you guys had your thing.
We never attacked the queen. Somebody has killed the queen, and as such, Velshani is in a bit of an uproar right now because she took some of our words to heart and attempted to enact some changes. Someone didn't like that. So now we are thinking we should probably be on our way out of the city.
Well, that is a little different. I wonder what happened to our books.
Well, you know what? They're probably the safest thing right now. But Gaelen has found out that apparently he now owns a town.
That very same Sasora.
Do you think it has any books?
It's an elven city. They are usually quite the record keepers.
Except once I get there, I will outlaw them.
What? Lignyck, I don't know about these people.
Why would we go to Sasora? You own it. That's the first place they're going to look for you.
I don't think anyone but the people in this room know that. This, in fact, was the first I'd ever heard of it.
I cannot get behind outlawing books.
How can you own a whole town and not have them know who owns them?
While this conversation is going on, Lignyck is looking up at people occasionally while flipping backwards through his book, or the book he's reading, clearly looking for a passage.
I'm not completely certain I owned Sasora until my mother knighted me with the Queen's sword. Oh, yeah. By the way, that's in this.
What does being a knight mean here?
It probably means an awful lot of duties I didn't particularly sign up for.
At the sound of you saying you got knighted, Skippy's eyes will just roll and he'll give a big sigh.
Does this mean you're going to be queen now?
Yes, Gaelen. Does that mean you're going to be queen now?
I don't think so, but I would be a very good queen.
I don't know. You just said you were going to banish books. That doesn't seem very good. She was a good queen because she gave me a book.
Well, maybe the books could be on one side of the town and the book readers could live over there.
I could stay with the books for you.
Well, I'll need a chief book watching person.
Excellent. Things are settled. Sounds good. You can be Queen Gaelen.
All right. Can Skippy, can you go to the docks and find if there is a ship that ideally we would be able to board at night and gain passage to Sasora, unbeknownst to as many people as possible?
What about our wagon and all our stuff?
Well, I think we'll have to find a way to bring Leo and Jinxie, and animals don't tend to stand out that much in Velshani, but I don't know that we'll be able to take the wagon. You could find out. They may, in fact, have room.
Fine. I'm gonna leave Jinxie here with you guys though, because it's too obvious.
She will protect us well.
Let's split the party again.
Kin Skippy, perhaps Noble Lignyck, Noble Faewyn would like to join you. I don't think that they'll go overly recognized.
But I thought we were staying here today to read the books.
Well, I have no idea where you're at. Haven't you already read a book? It only takes me a moment to drink.
How long were they gone, Ryan?
It's been a couple of hours since you started, so you've read the first 2 chapters.
I'm partway through. This is a very interesting book. I'm here, and I point to you where I am. About a quarter of the way.
And before Skippy leaves, Grun is going to give him that tattoo and explain to him what it would do.
What? Really? Cool. How do I do it?
Just touch this needle to wherever you want it to be.
How long will it take me to attune to the tattoo?
To attune to this item, you hold the needle to your skin where you want the tattoo to appear, pressing the needle there throughout the attunement process. When the attunement is complete, it turns into ink, which appears, but it doesn't say a specific time.
Well, then I think the assumption is it's the same attunement as...
A short rest.
Before I go down to the docks, I should probably use this. It'll help me disguise who I am.
Yes, and Faewyn, I wasn't sure where you what you might think about this, but there is also a tattoo here that's called the Illuminator's Tattoo that I thought you might like, and I'll explain the abilities of that as well.
Ooh, that's very interesting. And you can just write anything?
Your finger is a bottomless pen, and if you choose to use its more magical abilities, you can write a secret text between you and someone else. I figured both abilities might be useful to you.
That is very cool. Yes, that would be very interesting.
I'm glad that that's interesting to you. You may, of course, have that, and hopefully it will be of great use to you.
Why, thank you.
Would you like it applied?
I'm assuming someone can hold the pen to you while you're reading.
That's wonderful. That'll be perfect.
Yeah, you can
I would
do
be
that.
happy to do it.
So you guys can have a short rest right now? Okay. So while Gaelen and Skippy are applying tattoos over the next hour of a short rest, what's everybody else doing?
Continuing to read.
Okay.
Yeah, and Lignyck had some questions, so...
Lignyck is actually very intently staring at his book at the moment and endeavoring to replicate Faewyn's intensity of interest.
But he's feigning it.
Okay, but Grun will see it and respect that. He's trying to focus, and so he'll just grab a seat and just kind of. Well, he won't even grab a seat. He's going to kind of lean up against the wall in the corner and just kind of close his eyes and grab a nap because he's just mentally tired right now.
Okay, well, Gaelen will say, Noble Lignyck, didn't you have any questions for King Grun?
I'm ready to ask him yet.
Did you learn anything from your book?
Fine. Grun,
Yes, Lignyck.
could you please tell me about Dowreth?
Yeah, I can tell you what I know about Dowreth and Shiro. They are effectively elder gods, from what we can tell, kind of the first gods, along with their brother, the Stormlord, and their pet Murgafee. And apparently in times long before we can imagine, they ruled, and they were rather, I guess, cruel and unusual with their means, and the other gods and deities and magical creatures and such rose up and sealed them away, and they were sealed for millennia, I believe, and upon their return, the two of them have imprisoned their previous captors. But the Stormlord, who had also assisted in their banishment, disappeared. However, when I was nearly killed, Dowreth gained an insight and believes that the force that the Druids worship is actually the Stormlord, and he was effectively hiding in plain sight. I do know that Dowreth and Shiro control many, many worlds, similar and unlike to ours, and they each rule in their own way before they battle each other across these many planets and universes. Like a concept that just staggers my mind even now. Now they work together in an attempt to defeat their former pet Murgafee, who has grown beyond the two of them and threatens to swallow both this and those other places. I do know that the worlds that they inhabit are not ideal for us, and that is why I hope to redirect their current paths and hopefully convince them through our actions that there is a better way.
And who do you
worship.
Were he still free this day, I would remain faithful to Kelemvor. However, he remains trapped by Dowreth, and so currently I am a priest of Dowreth.
This book talks a lot about
And you're all noticing that he is using a very different speech pattern than usual. He is very focused and intent on what he is saying.
a very high regard for the Trinity that you speak of. Sharoth, Dowreth, and the Storm Lord. Given that we are actively trying to stop undead apocalypse, Dowreth,
And he flips through to a page and he starts following with his finger.
he who meets us at the end, somber guardian of the path of the dead, mourned alongside us when our people fell, whether in their twilight or their dawn. Through his power, some were returned to us, and others were punished with eternal undeath. Clerics of Dowreth guarded us from the terrors of the night, sometimes by creating their own. How is Dowreth's side of the people fighting against the undead if he uses them in the fight? Can you explain that to me?
Because I do not use the undead. I wish to leave the dead to their rightful rest and their souls to their rightful passing. Dowreth himself knows that I have refused to raise the dead, and I have taken upon worship upon the condition that my body be returned to the earth and my soul, well, who knows what will happen to my soul now. However, I will not be bringing about the dead. I wish to return those who have arisen to their slumber.
And if you trip over someone else who worships Dowreth and they do that, what do?
Then I would stand to stop them. And Grunner's looking like right at you, like no hesitation. He would stand to stop them.
One of the main things that I'm getting from this book is that all three of them are held in high regard by the elves, the Storm Lord also. So even if he was the one who flip, was involved in imprisoning them, flip, he was, according to the elves,
And he follows his finger again.
the balance between the piercing light of a lightning bolt and dread darkness of heavy clouds. And the Storm Lord brought peace with our natural surroundings. It seems to me that all three are necessary. This book looks like it is propaganda. Propaganda would be a good word for it. Elves are wonderful. Elves have always been wonderful.
Elves are a mistake.
Elves are a mistake.
Faewyn looks up and she hasn't heard anything else you've said, just as an FYI. Yeah, elves are a mistake. That's what the book says.
The book you're reading, Noble Faewyn?
Yeah, elves are a mistake. An accident. The weakest.
Gaelen presses a little harder.
They were created by accident. A Titan cried because somebody messed with his dragons and made them fight each other. And the tears turned into elves. They were an accident. Nobody meant to make them.
Faewyn?
Yeah?
Is there anything in that book says where we should go?
We have to go to Thorwald's Deep, but I'm not exactly sure where that is. If we want to wreck the book, we got to go there. Interesting book so far. Too bad about the elves.
We do have a general idea where Thorwald's Deep may lay to the northwest.
Is beyond Sasora.
Oh, well, you want to wreck the book, you got to go there.
That might not be a worse idea.
Noble Lignyck, you say that the book you're reading is, what did you say? Propaganda? Or isn't that basically what all history books are?
Oh, Gaelen, sorry about the elf thing.
I
It's not personal, it's just the book.
agree with the book. At least some elves are a mistake.
Yes, but if I had to guess, this reads Like if Faewyn was writing about all the wonderful time magic Faewyn was going to do.
So very accurate and detailed. Excellent.
You see, this is why I don't spend much time reading. You can never know if what you're reading is a lie, and lies only become true when someone chooses to believe them.
I don't know if I'd say they're lies, but they are. It's a very,
Just said it was really accurate.
very
One-sided?
self-aware. Self-aware would be a good complimentary way of saying it. Not like Faewyn saying it. It sounds like it was written by them and they're very full of themselves.
Oh, well, I'm not like that. I'm just telling you about the real things. So it's not like me at all.
That's what I said. This part isn't like you.
Well, right now there is an imbalance between those three, because two of them are running around imprisoning everything. And
Two of
one
who?
of them,
2 elves?
I don't know whether or not Shiro and Dowreth are elves or...
Oh, those gods people. Okay, gotcha.
But the Stormlord is held prisoner. If your book can explain how to free the Stormlord, that might be useful.
I don't think the Stormlord is imprisoned. I think he is keeping low. His absence is deliberate.
It didn't seem to me like that middle door was locked from the inside.
To me, it seemed as if the stone had merged itself with the stone around it. I feel like that is very much the workings of a Stormlord.
Well, if he's spending his time hiding, then he's most definitely an elf.
He is apparently hiding amongst the worship of the druids, so it would hold that he would have the power over stone and the ability to hide quite easily.
Hey, you guys, are we going to go over land or in the tunnels?
There are tunnels.
Tunnels everywhere. Dwarves got tunnels.
Oh, yes. The Dowreths.
But, and she looks at Gaelen, there are some bad elves in the tunnels too sometimes. And, fiends and dragons and stuff too. Other things.
In the Dowreths' tunnels.
Yeah, they didn't have a good time. I don't know how it's going to end, but wow, this is some book so far.
Does that book say if there are any tunnels that run under Valshini?
Don't know yet. Not yet. But it says they go in lots of the land. Dwarves aren't just under mountains anymore. Well, when they wrote the book. The book was written a little while ago, so...
If you read anything about ways to tell where these tunnels are, could you let us know, please?
Sure thing.
Thank you.
Tunnels should be pretty easy to find.
No, that's the problem. This place has been looked for centuries, and the people that have tried to find it have failed. I don't know if we'll succeed, but we must try.
If we can find some way to, other than just relying upon Faewyn, if we could find some other way to also, read Dwarven scripts, once we gain the access to the tunnels, it may be easier to find our way. There must be some form of markings or maps for travelers.
Anything else we can learn, Noble Faewyn, about the Dowreths would be useful, because frankly all we know is that they like to dig and that they hate elves.
Oh, they were also created by an Earth Titan. They were one of the first races. They don't mingle with others.
Does it say that all races were created by these Titans?
Well, yeah, some of them worked together and created races together, and then some of them, like elves, were an accident, although technically they're the only ones that were mentioned as an accident in here. But anyway, there were some other dragons, and then they fought, like all the chromatic dragons battled their metallic ones, and then when all the extra races, not the first 4, dragons, devils, merfolk, and dwarves, when the other ones started to cover all over the world, they were just too annoying, and the dwarves went under the mountain to seek quiet and solitude away from all of those people.
And you've read nothing yet about what happened to those dwarves?
Not yet. So far, they tried to ignore the upstairs people, but, they had, as I said, dragons and fiends and, and then bad elves going underground with them. And so they had to try and protect themselves against them. And so that didn't really work, just ignoring everything. And so they had all their tunnels. And then you guys interrupted me.
Or my apologies. We'll let you get back to reading. And at a glance, can we tell about how far Faewyn is into the book?
About a quarter so far.
Yeah, she's actually getting kind of close to the end of the third chapter. She just needs maybe another 20 minutes of reading, and that'll be the end of the short rest.
Okay. We'll, unless anybody else had questions, and we'll leave it to Faewyn to read for right now until, and then wait until Skippy can find out about a boat, and then we can kind of decide, given our options, what we should do from there.
Gaelen wanted to say to Kin Lignyck, I'm easily confused when things get too complicated, and so I have the Queen's sword because it didn't seem right to leave it behind. But there may be something I'm missing. If you can put your brain power to it, I would appreciate it. My concern is that if it is in our possession, if it doesn't need to be in our possession, then it ought not be. If it is in our possession, and we have been implicated, as my gut tells me we have, in the Queen's death, the sword looks
You
bad.
got us framed?
Well, I didn't hire anyone to do it, if that's what you're asking.
Who gave you the sword?
No, but
How do you know we've been framed, Gaelen?
The nature of my father's note, which I'll also give to Noble Faewyn, when you have a moment, it's something else to read. It suggested that he was very worried for our safety and around the Queen's death, and that we ought to flee. Given how I feel about my father, it could very well be him who murdered the Queen, and just wants me to flee. But well, I don't know.
Given what is happening right now, it's really hard to say. I mean, I will say your father did not make a great first impression upon me. However, your mother seemed like a very honest and trusting individual. I find it hard to believe your father would have been able to trick her for this long.
I fear that my mother would trust nearly anything my father told her. But at the same time, I am trying to remind myself that a person with no forgiveness in their heart lives an even worse punishment than death.
Why don't you trust your dad?
Well, he sucks. He is.
What does he suck?
He is the embodiment of these elves that are mistakes that you talk about.
Kind of, I think, meant all elves. But why does your mom like him then?
I have no idea. I assume he sings pretty songs for her or something. I guess what I'm saying is that I have little to no information, except that I've been warned by my father that we should flee. I'm speaking, though, Kin Lignyck, about this sword.
You stole the Queen's sword?
Well, someone did, so that my mother could knight me with it.
Oh, and that's how you're going to become queen. Got it.
Right.
Boy, elves do things oddly.
Yes, that is true.
So you got the sword from your mother then?
Yes.
So your mama stole the sword to make you queen. Got it.
I'm not exactly sure that that is a correct representation. I suppose my father probably stole the sword.
So anybody who steals the sword gets to make the next person queen? Boy, elves are weird. So if you want to be queen, you should hold on to that sword.
Well, see, I don't know. Perhaps I could use this sword to make someone else queen, and then it would be their problem.
I think you have to give it to their daughters. It belongs to them now.
It's possible, except the powers that would deny them their place.
Yeah, but I'm not sure we are the people to decide who the rightful queen is.
The daughters of the queen are the rightful queen. I assume I know which one is older.
Yeah, you would know that.
Oh man, you were going to be queen. Now somebody else is queen. I'm going back to the book.
Princess Eulariel was the older.
Gem Princess nope.
Eulariel.
You're a jerk.
I'll copy it into chat.
Skippy's giggle is great.
That is a pretty cute giggle you got, Skippy.
I'm so happy I'm on push to talk right now.
Gem Majesty Eulariel is the rightful queen, but I fear there are those who will not allow her to rule. It would not entirely surprise me to find that she was also dead. You know, I feel like we have very important things we need to be dealing with, and my people's civil implosion is an unnecessary distraction.
Whoa, you're just getting it now? This is what I've been telling you. Everything that you've been doing is unnecessary. Getting drunk, going before all those people, none of it had to happen. If you wouldn't have gone in front of those people, you wouldn't have riled up the queen, and there wouldn't be a civil unrest right now. Whatever civil is.
Very pleasant napping. Well, not napping, because they're not resting.
Well, I mean, if we had not stayed here and, some of the things happened as they did, we would have no idea how to possibly destroy the book, and now we apparently do. So at this point, now that we have a destination in mind, we should likely start making our way as quickly and as unobtrusively as we can, which is exactly what Skippy's best at.
Yes, and hopefully we are ahead of the news.
It was in the streets already.
No, I mean in our journey, that we get to Sosora before the news.
Has it been an hour yet?
Nope, but if you guys are done talking, we can fast forward to that. But if you have more stuff you want to talk about, feel free to talk. You've got about 8 minutes left.
I just want to ask you, Ryan, if Gaelen would be familiar with how long the land travel. I see there is a road, and that in comparison to the sea travel.
Oh, land travel takes much longer than by ship.
I'm not sure what the scale of the lake that we're looking at is. Is there like 5 days between those cities or something?
Yeah, it's 5 or 6 days overland to get to Sosora, so it's a couple of days by ship.
Is Gaelen familiar with any the world famous krakens that live in the lake?
There's nothing big and scary like that in the lake. No.
No, I'm just going to make sure we clarify because, Ryan in his wording, he said there's nothing big like that in the lake. There's nothing big in the lake.
There's a few things that eat krakens, but...
No. There's no legendary monsters in the lake.
All of a sudden, Faewyn goes, ooh, and looks up, starts glancing at Grun, looks back down at the book, gives a sidelong glance at Grun, and keeps reading.
Grun doesn't think it's going to be good, and I'm also pointing out his addition of the word legendary. Just making sure to drive this point home, folks.
What do you want from me?
The truth, sir. We want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Very possibly.
But yes, I think we can fast forward.
Perfect. So 1 o'clock comes around, and Faewyn, you've finished reading chapter 3, and there is a knock at the door.
Skippy grabs the book again, stuffs it in his backpack.
Oh, sorry, did I poke you?
He stole the book.
Oh, well, yeah. All right. Answer the door.
Okay, it's the innkeeper. You guys gonna need some lunch in here?
That is a good question. How is everyone feeling?
Might as well.
And he says, same as last time, or you want to change it up?
I'm going to get the boiled shark this time.
Do you have any more of those sausages?
Sure do.
Awesome. I'd like some of them, please.
All right. Well, you can give me 5 silver pieces, and I'll start getting food ready for you.
I'll pay.
Okay. He takes the money and says, I'll try to keep it quiet for you guys. There's just a lot going on out here right now.
I actually, for the 5 silver, I gave him a gold.
No. He'll say, do you want change for that?
Nope.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate your attempts to keep things quiet for us. We understand it's tough right now. But thank you.
No worries. And he turns to leave and put in your order for food.
So I'm hoping that the tattooist will be able to finish my upgrade by close of day.
Faewyn is still giving Grun odd looks.
Hopefully, Kin Skippy, we can gain passage this evening on something. If not, then as early as possible.
I'll give the book back to Faewyn.
Oh, thank you.
There is a piece of unfinished business. Kin Lignyck, you told us about. I can't remember the name of someone in the Wizard's Tower.
Just sec. Arcane Master Elarian.
Ah, yes, that's right, Jim Illyrian. Didn't you say he'd been murdered or something?
No, they can't find him. He's missing, and his door's locked, and it's wizard locked, so they can't get into it. So they don't know if he's in this room, and they don't know if he's somewhere else, and they can't find him.
Well, then he's definitely part of an adventuring party.
Okay, Skippy is going to use his tattoo and change his appearance. So he's going to change his appearance to that of a female human child.
Skippy, before you go anywhere, there's, oh goodness, how to say this? I think I found a dwarf. She stares at Grun.
I think you're a little bit mistaken, and Grun will pull his lower gums down. It's like they're a bit short, but those are the tusks of an orc.
I know. See? Oh yeah. You guys didn't read the book. Oh, sorry. Yeah, see, he's kind of a dwarf. Well, he was kind of partway. How to explain? Well, boy, this chapter was interesting. Dwarfs fought with elves because elves mistake. Whoops. Anyway, bad elves fighting the dwarfs, fought them back, and anyway, they captured some magic elves and made them teach them magic, and then they decided, we should have some things to fight the elves better because the elves were being really, really bad. So they made orcs out of dwarves, and you're kind of an orc. So you're kind of a dwarf. We got our own dwarf.
You're a derf, Kin Grun.
Well, that's the first time somebody's ever called me that. I don't know if that works for the sake of what we need, though. I mean, that's kind of a loophole and a few, I guess, what you might call generations removed.
Hey, you guys wanted me to find some dwarves. I'm finding dwarves all over the place, just right here.
I mean, I guess that would mean the orcs, the orcs themselves would be a better, a closer group to the dwarves.
They are changed dwarves. They're not regular dwarfs, though, just in case you were curious.
Yes, but if I'm a dwarf, they're more dwarves than I am, so it may be something to keep in mind.
And some of the dwarfs didn't like the changed dwarfs so much, so they got angry and fought with each other, and the changed dwarfs or orcs did really well fighting the elves, except for the ones that could get into, they tried flying. That's why they made the flying cities, and oh boy, all sorts of stuff. This is a great book.
Kin Grun, I had honestly expected the derfs not to be quite as pretty as you.
Thank you. I expected them to be a little bit wiser than me as well. This doesn't necessarily bode great for us.
Well, just like anybody else, you got some wise ones, you got some unwise ones, you got some tall ones, some short ones. I'm sure they're just like everybody else.
And if you have a half derf and a half orc, would that be a dork?
Probably.
I think we can get into the semantics about that at a later time.
So yeah, this has been a wild ride, this book. So, Grun, where can we find the dwarves? The rest of them, I mean.
Grun's going to just kind of look at Skippy, the now female girl Skippy, and go say, this is probably the best time for you to start looking.
And I leave.
Best of luck, Kin Skippy.
What's he looking for again?
Hey, who's that guy?
Which guy? Oh, yeah, you notice that there's an elven guard has come into the inn, and he's kind of taking a look around.
I'll say, "Excuse me, sir," and wander by him.
Yeah, you can get past him, no problem.
And then I run down the street.
So Skippy runs off. And Gaelen and Grun, are you doing anything while Skippy's away?
Galen's not going to bother running off to the tattoo thing until, kind of close of day or, last possible moment type thing.
Okay.
Kin Grun, you have taken everything out of your room?
We haven't gone back up to our room yet.
Nope.
We may need to secure the things from our rooms if people have started looking for us.
Well, let's wait and let Skippy get back, and then we can kind of leave, gather our things, and go all at once. Right now, I think we need to just fill Faewyn and Lignyck in about what we know about the dwarves.
Yeah, I'd love to know what you guys know, since you're one and all.
What do we know?
Well, just what we were told by the ghost dwarf about about Thorbold's Deep, its general vicinity, and that the book was definitely written in Dwarvish. And then the fact that Faewyn has just told us that Thorbold's Deep has the means by which to destroy the book, tends to lead then extra credence to that.
It's not so much it has the means to destroy the book, it has the means to remove the protections on the book. Being there will do that.
Well, that's a strong step forward. If we get a chance, we may still want to speak with the Archdruid and see if we can't find a way to then destroy the book once the protections have been removed.
Then it's just a book. Magic book, but pretty sure magic fire would do. It seems to think that it could be destroyed there if it needed to be, but it's protected till then.
Well, I think that would be a very good idea, because if all of these tomes are required to restore Glothor, if we destroy even one, that is, if not the end of his resurrection, at least a very severe blow.
Haven't even gotten to anything about him yet, so don't know if this book has him in it or not.
Oh, say who? What? Who?
Undead dude you guys keep talking about.
So I miss a lot of things. It's true, but I was under the understanding that the whole purpose to that book was to bring Glothor back.
Haven't read about him yet. Let you know when I do.
That sounds great. If we have been risking our lives for a history book,
Hey, this is a great book so far. It's got dragons, it's got dwarves, it's got elves, it's got all tunnels, it's got tunnels. Good book so far. Gripping.
yes, noble Faewyn, please keep reading.
Okay. Can I skip ahead half an hour for Skippy?
Yeah.
Okay. Skippy, you get to the docks, no problem. You can see that the city is in a state of mourning as you go, and there are groups of 2 or 3 soldiers sticking together, going building to building, looking around. But when you get to the docks, you see that there are several ships here that are loading and offloading goods.
Well, I was moving fast, so when I get to the docks, I duck into an alley quick and watch for people trailing after me.
Okay, give me a perception check.
At 12.
Yeah, you take a look behind you, and you don't see anybody that looks like they're following you around.
Okay. Then I will switch out of my disguise because I don't assume that I'll be able to book a passage for myself with being a little girl. So I will make my way down to the dock, being careful not to be followed, that sort of thing. Keeping my eyes open for people that might notice me or that sort of thing. Until I get down to, I don't know, where would be the best? Just walk up to ships or what?
Yeah, there's plenty of ships and crews and captains milling about. So, yeah, you can just approach somebody if you want to.
I'm gonna. Does there look like there's like a harbor master or anything like that, like an office or something like that, or a
Yep.
officious-looking gentleman? I walk up to him and ask him, put like a couple of silver pieces down on his thing, and ask him if there's any ships bound for what was it, Sephora?
Sisora.
Sisora.
Yes, there are a couple of ships preparing to set sail. I believe there's one leaving in an hour and another tonight.
In an hour and it's later tonight. Okay, I'm going to make my way to the later tonight one.
Okay. Yeah, it's a big ship, very seaworthy.
But before I leave,
what was the slate ahead?
well, he's officious, and I'm just thinking that he probably has a big coin purse.
All right.
And it's not intentional. It's probably just something that he would.
And Kin Skippy gets dead.
I'm just hoping that his
Can you roll a d10 for me?
a D10?
You
No.
You get 18 copper pieces.
All right. I make my way.
Okay, you make your way to the ship, and you can see that they're in the process of loading big crates into the hold.
Does it look like it might be big enough to take our wagon with?
Definitely.
Okay, I make my way over to somebody who looks like he's in charge of loading or supervising the loaders.
Okay.
And I walk up to him and I say, "Hello, I'm looking to book a passage to Sisora. I hear that you might be able to help me."
Certainly. Is it just yourself?
No, there's quite a few of us actually.
Very well.
And a wagon.
Ah, I see. And I assume an animal or two to pull the wagon?
2 animals, yes.
Very well. And he holds out a clipboard and says, "If you could please write your names down here, I will make sure that you're aboard before we set sail tonight."
I don't know how to read or write. I apologize.
Oh,
Perhaps my coin will be good enough?
Well, we wouldn't want to leave without you. Perhaps you could tell me your names and I could write them down for you.
Okay. I make up a bunch of names for him.
Okay. Give me a deception check, please.
Oh, damn it. After I tell him the last name, I will push him 5 platinum and say that won't be a problem, right?
He looks at the coins very briefly before stuffing them away and says, "Of course, we have travelers of all types come aboard the vessel from time to time. We'll definitely wait for you."
And I thank him, and with that, I start heading back towards the inn.
Okay. And are you changing your shape again anywhere along the way or no?
No, I can't. I can only do it once per day.
Okay. So half an hour later, Skippy arrives. At this point, Faewyn, you have finished chapter 4.
You're back just in time. So you guys wanted to know, Lathor. Hey, he's in this chapter.
Yay.
Yeah, he was on Oos and he was making undeads there, and the dwarves and allies, they allied this time. They weren't trying to kill each other this time, and they went to Oos to try and free the people there, and then sounds like they died. At least the leaders of both nations were lost. Didn't go well. And then the Canopy King, an elf of distant Nord, I don't know, that's somewhere else, not here, called upon the Elven Queen and the dwarves to rally for a second assault. And that one went well, and Glathor was defeated. Don't know what happened to him, but they did it. They stopped the undead, just like we're gonna.
So, Noble Faewyn,
But we don't want everybody to die first.
we did learn much of that information from Noble Gem Eleanor.
Okay, well, the book agrees.
But we want to know that book is the book that they're using or want to use to bring back Glathor, and that we are escorting it to be destroyed, and that it's not a history book.
Okay, well, I'll keep reading them. I'm a little over halfway through now, but at least they're talking about the dude you wanted to talk about now.
I don't think you can read anymore now, Faewyn. We have to get ready because the boat is leaving tonight and they need to get everything loaded onto it.
Oh, excellent, Skippy. You've done very well. I was thinking that what we ought to do is load those of us that might be recognized into the caravan and have it taken and loaded onto the ship. Possibly pay some dock laborers or something to fetch the caravan and load it. Does that make sense?
I don't know, that sounds like it's up Skippy's alley.
Maybe we can just hire the stable hand here at the inn to drive it down for us.
Yes, and if he can do that with his own team of horses, Leo might stand out.
So how long before we go?
When did they say they were leaving, Skippy?
I regurgitated time.
Yeah, it was after nightfall, and it's only 2:30 in the afternoon right now.
So I could keep reading for a while, right? Because
Yes,
it's just getting good. It's getting to the dude you want.
Me too.
I think we should go now because they're going to be looking for us here because they know that this is where we were staying.
It's quite reasonable for us to move to a different location. I don't know that we should try and make it all the way to the docks while it's daytime.
I don't know if we can get everything while everything's kind of still moving around and still kind of chaotic. If we can get ourselves to the docks and get ourselves on there, Faewyn can read away and
Skippy, I believe there are a few things in Grun's room.
And mine too.
It would be good if our rooms are emptied. Do you think that we're fine to wander around the inn?
Well, I saw guards out front. I don't know why they're there, but they're looking around.
were there any inside of the inn?
There was one.
Was it there when you returned?
Yep.
Then perhaps we shouldn't. Skippy, what do you think the odds of you being able to empty Grun and Noble Faewyn's rooms?
I will say from a strength point, it's questionable.
Is there any windows in this?
There's no windows in this room, no.
I can try. I'm probably the best one to do it.
You most certainly are the best one.
I will make my way out of there and up the stairs.
Okay. As you head out into the common room, you see that the guard is no longer there.
Okay, I'll take note of that and then head quickly upstairs.
Okay. Yeah, you have no problem getting the stuff from people's rooms.
Okay, I lug it all downstairs as quietly as I can.
Okay. If you want to give me a stealth check for moving things quietly.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, nobody's paying particularly close attention to you as you bring the stuff from the rooms down to the room that you're all in now.
All right, I got you guys' stuff. Let's go.
Thank you, Skippy.
Thank
That guard
you, Skippy.
is gone now. The guard saw me come in and now it's gone.
This might be a good time for us to go. Might be our only
Yeah, I
opportunity
think so.
if he's gone.
I'll make my way out again and go to the stables. I'm going to go to the stables
Well,
and see if I can get that guy to...
I was going to say, should Gaelen and Grun go with Skippy because we're probably the ones we want in the wagon?
Should we all go together?
There's a decent chance that the noble gnomes should be with us.
Because you guys lose people a lot, and I'm really liking the book so far.
Non-elves in general, I think, even with all of the refugees, stand out.
Yes. For now, could you perhaps dismiss Krabby and Seraphina so that we're a little less conspicuous?
Skippy will go and with his bag to Faewyn and make a gesture to take the book.
Okay, she does.
I throw it in the backpack and put it on my back and...
You just fit so Faye would let him take the book.
In this case, yes. But you're going to let me read the rest of that, right?
Yep.
Awesome. So, does Seraphina really have to go away?
I don't know. It's just an owl.
I could tell her to fly and meet us at the ship. She wouldn't necessarily be associated with us.
Can you use her to scout for us?
What do you want her to look for?
Guards and such.
Well, let me just check if I'm allowed to.
Find Familiar allows you to see through your familiar's eyes if they're within 100 feet of you.
Yeah, if I could sit in your cart, I could just watch what's going on and look for her. Look, she'll look for me.
Well, that sounds great. Can you kind of lead the way for Skippy to set up whatever arrangements with the stable hands?
Sure.
So, Skippy, if you want to set up the stable hands transporting our carriage, and we will all go get in it. Does that make sense? Is that the plan?
Yeah, I will I'll basically do whatever you want me to do.
Okay.
I'm not the highest charisma, so somebody else might want to negotiate with the stable hand.
Faewyn's not bad if you can explain what we're aiming to do. She's still a little distracted, but you should be able to get her full attention now. We just want him to take the cart to the boat?
Yeah. Grun is...
Yeah.
King Grun is very good with people, but our issue is we need to... If Seraphina can scout ahead to make sure that there are no guards around the stable and our carriage, then I think we can all go there in general safety.
Okay, hold on. Let me get her outside. So Seraphina goes outside. Can I see, are there any guards immediately outside of the inn, in between the inn and the stables, or immediately outside of the inn in general?
Let me move Seraphina for you. So you should be able to see through her token, right?
Yep. Okay. And I'll just have her fly like a normal owl in the direction of the stable and a light on the roof. She's not going to pause or do anything suspicious.
Okay.
So there was definitely a guard right outside the front door.
Well, that's good to know.
Are there any other exits from this place?
Can I have her circle the building, but getting nowhere near the front so that he won't see her?
Sure. Yeah, you do a circle of the building, and you can see that there's a window out of the kitchen and a window out of the front of the tavern, but there are no other doors that exit the building.
There's also a guard right by the stables, too, and I let them know where the windows are. And are they wearing the same uniform as they appear to be? And if so, do I recognize it from the castle earlier?
They are generic city guards.
So I'll relay that fact as well.
So there's one guard at the front door and one guard over at the stables.
Did she see any others on her pass around the building?
There is another guard over by the kitchens at the end on the road.
So he would see the window.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's essentially one guard covering each of the exits, which is less than ideal.
Oh, they found us.
So, but there's an odd thing. So how long was Skippy gone for?
About an hour.
That should have been long enough to rally people if they wanted to arrest you. Why are they staying outside and just guarding the doors?
Well, they haven't
Don't
seen
know.
any of us yet, so they may not know if we're in the inn.
The last guard saw me come into the inn.
Yes, but you have changed your appearance and aren't necessarily as obviously known as Gaelen and myself.
That's true, but
They may have seen us without our knowing. We're not as observant as you are, Skippy.
well, I think we should try to leave anyway. There's no way that we can magic our way out of here.
Well, I was actually going to say there might be, if you don't mind making a bit of a stink when we do leave. I did prepare blindness and deafness for spells.
That's handy.
Yeah, I could attempt to make the guards perform a Constitution save. I mean, the only problem is if they suddenly go blind, they may shout out for help, and that could cause more of an issue than anything else.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea.
Is it worth talking to them first?
Can everybody please give me perception checks?
Hey, I did so much better this time. My number stayed positive.
I did not do so much better this time.
While you guys are discussing options, Grun, you hear the faint sound of a horn blowing.
Do I recognize the horn at all?
No.
Someone's blowing on a horn, guys.
What kind of horn?
I don't recognize it, but I imagine it may be either the city guards or the wall guards.
Would Gaelen know any distinctive horns, like the horn that would call the guards to the wall, for example?
Yeah, Gaelen would know those sorts of things, having grown up in Velshni, but you didn't hear it.
You know, was it like pop, 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 or was it too long? Pop, pop.
Grun, yeah. I mean, Grun can attempt to duplicate the sound, like a performance or something.
Sure.
Oh, that's a good performance roll.
Really? No. Hold on. That's where I get my 17. That is where I get on mimicking the toot toot.
So Grun makes this perfect, pitch perfect replication of the sound of danger at the wall.
King Grun, that was amazing. That was really well done. That is very clearly danger at the wall. They're calling the guards to the wall. This is a good time for us to go.
Likely means that the undead are making some kind of a push. You're most likely right.
I agree, but I think that we should go through the back door, because if we have to deal with a guard there, we don't want to do that in front of everybody in the street.
That is good thinking, Kin Skippy.
The guards ran away to the south, so there's no guards right now.
Then this is absolutely the perfect time to just grab our stuff, get in the wagon, and go. Forget hiring the stable hand. We should just go.
Okay.
Oh wait, I guess we need a stable hand because there's still none of us that are trained for this. Yeah, never mind.
Oh, you know the basics. You can get us through town on roads.
Yeah, you'd be able to drive the cart through the city. It's more driving the cart through wilderness that's going to be a big problem.
Okay. Well then, yeah, I will. I'm going to say that's probably been our best option now. If all the guards have been called to the walls, yeah, let's get our stuff to the ship, and maybe we can even convince them to leave a little early.
Okay, let's go load up.
You guys leave the inn, and you get your wagon set up. You get Leonardo hitched up to the wagon and head off to the docks. You don't see any city guards in sight, but now that you're all outside, you can hear horns blaring from a couple of different locations in the south.
Yeah, we know what came from what's coming towards the south.
Unfortunately, yes. And
Remind me to send a thank you note to Jim Lucius.
Oh, we'll give him our thanks in person.
Looking forward to it.
And so it's about half an hour.
So Gaelen will only stay with the trek for the first few blocks until he's basically in line with the tattoo shop.
Okay.
And then he will give the sword to Kin Lignyck. Guard this with your life. I have to try and get my tattoo back.
Can do.
I will see you there. If I'm not, leave.
Okay.
We're not leaving without you, Gaelen.
And Gaelen will run as fast as his little monk legs can carry him, as much as possible, not main streets.
Okay. You get to the shop, no problem.
And I pop in,
Yep. You see them working away.
and I'll paying attention to my surroundings as much as possible, and I'll approach.
Okay. Findrili sees you and smiles and says, I just put the finishing touches on not long ago. Let me go and get the needle for you.
Thank you, Jim Findwheely.
And he heads to the back of the shop and comes back out with the needle in a small box lined in velvet.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate your business.
Yes, our colleagues very much like their new tattoos, so they'll be put to good use.
Excellent. Well, the money that you paid us will definitely help us get more magic tattoos made, and hopefully there will be others in the city who find them just as useful as you and your friends.
I hope so, and best of luck to you in your business and in your future. Goodbye.
Farewell.
Gaelen will try and catch up with the caravan if he can.
There shouldn't be a problem. The caravan is moving at 40 feet, and you can dash for double that.
90.
Yeah, so you'll catch up fairly quickly.
Great. I'll jump into the back of the caravan.
Okay, and the wagon continues rattling along the streets until you get to the dock half an hour later.
I'll hop out and greet the supervisor.
He smiles at you and says, welcome back.
Thank you. This is the cargo.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that you managed to make it early. It looks like we might have to leave early. The city is under attack, and that's never good for business.
I agree, especially this type of attack.
I don't know what type of attack it is. You do?
Hordes of undead.
That does sound problematic. The walls should hold, though. They've held for millennia.
Sure.
You can give me... Everybody can give me perception checks.
What is wrong with my eyeballs today?
I'm wishing my passive perception was what was kicking in instead of my active perception.
You're way better when you're not paying attention.
Oh, I need performance. Whoops.
I always forget about passives. I like to roll dice.
Does he notice things just automatically if his passive is good enough?
His passive is ridiculous. He notices everything. So we've got Faewyn, Grun, Skippy, and so basically only Gaelen didn't hear it. There's a very loud roar that comes from the south.
Cue the undead.
Have I heard that roar before?
No, nothing like this.
That's kind of cool.
We have.
Does it sound like the roar of that enormous thing that chased us into the forest?
Nope.
Doesn't sound like the Dracolet. Okay. It's a new big bad thing.
Okay, this sucks because we haven't dealt with the other two big bad things.
More big red things.
Or the stuff from Steamton. I think I told you.
Are they loading our caravan?
Yeah, they are getting the wagon aboard the ship and rushing with the rest of the stuff that they need to get on as well.
Skippy, I'm probably going to need you to tell me that this isn't our fight.
It is our fight, but it's not our front.
Gaelen, I haven't known you long, but it seems like if we want to defeat the undead, you need to choose whether that's what you really want to do right now or not.
Well, that's them making all the noise, right?
Maybe it's something else and attacking your city, and that's tough. But you also think they're trying to arrest you for the murder of the queen. This is your chance to take action on the undead front if you want it.
What are we going to do against that front?
We're going to go find the book, then we're going to Steamton to rescue my research. We're going to destroy the undead there. I don't think we can do anything handling it piecemeal.
We can't stand against that wave of undead.
All right, but we're not going to Steamton yet.
No, we're doing the book first, and then you guys are coming to Steamton.
You know, by the time that's finished, that just might sound like a good idea.
The blare of another horn is cut short.
Let's get on board.
Yeah, let's get going.
King Grun, my mother's in this town.
You're the fastest one of us.
Hey guys,
You are the second fast. You are the first fastest, but you are definitely not the only fast one. Lignyck, could Gaelen borrow Krabby and yourself to help retrieve his mother?
you told me to get rid of him and I didn't, so that's what I was going to say.
Well, perfect. Sorry to steal your thunder.
And me and Jinxie could keep up as well.
It's not,
What?
I'm
What?
not so
What?
fast.
How far am I from my mother's now?
It's not far. It's probably about 5 minutes.
I'm going to go get my mother. Those of you who can keep up are welcome to do so.
Who's going? So we got Gaelen, we got Lignyck, and we got Skippy going.
Skippy turns and pulls his backpack off and tosses it at Faewyn. Hold this.
Okay, so I'm rolling in order. So Gaelen gets 5 extra hit points. Lignyck gets 5 extra hit points, and
I get 2. Oh no.
Skippy gets 6.
Hey. You're currently my favorite.
So that's false life. So those are temporary hit points.
Thank you, King Grun. Make sure this boat gives us 10 to 15 minutes.
Alright. I jump on Jinxie and say, let's go.
Okay. You guys fly as fast as you can, and you're there in 5 minutes.
I don't knock, just open the door.
Okay. Your mother is sobbing. She's just curled up on a lavish couch, crying her eyes out.
Jim, Mother,
Gaelen, you're supposed to have left.
we are leaving, and you're coming with us.
The city's under attack. I don't know where your father is.
Nor do I. You're coming with us.
I can't just leave him. He'll be worried, sick.
We'll send a message. Let him know you're safe. He'll be very pleased.
Let me write something now.
Quickly, Mother.
And she heads back into another room and into the study and pulls out some paper and starts writing very quickly, telling your father that she's heading to Sasora with you, and she hopes that he makes it out safely.
I'll whisper in Galen's ear. Gaelen, she's telling them where we're going.
Well, I'll take her, and you'll take the note.
And you'll leave the sword.
Is it the right thing to do?
That isn't our fight.
I'm happy to leave it. I don't know what the right thing to do is.
Skippy, you notice like a demeanor change over him, like in the last bit, and he really looks at you in earnest and says, if you get caught with that thing on you, you're gonna start something that you can't finish.
Okay, that sounds wise. I will do as you wish. Ken Lignyck, I'll take that sword back, please.
I will give it back, please.
And I'll put the sword on the table where she left the note.
Okay.
Jim, Mother, may I carry you?
Oh, the indignity. Very well.
Okay, head back as fast as possible.
Okay. The sound from the walls is definitely louder than before. You can hear the ferocious roars, and from the house. You're close enough that you can see this beastly head over top of the walls, lashing out at guards and gobbling them up. And you see the unmistakable shambling figures of zombies atop the wall as well.
If I notice him looking at the walls, I'll tell him, I'll say to Gaelen, Gaelen, don't look.
Yeah, Gaelen will stop looking.
Okay. You race back to the ship, and as you board, you get a much better view with none of the buildings in the city blocking. And there is an undead attack force that you can see at the wall. And all of a sudden, there's brilliant light, beams of light shooting from the walls and cutting down the undead outside. And you can see a fireball exploding on top of the wall, immolating many zombies at once. And the ship pulls anchor and sails off to the west.
Yeah, Gaelen will stand at the stern and stare back at Belshani.
Okay. Faewyn, in the meantime, you have had enough time to finish the next chapter.
Oh, good. So everybody's back on the ship. Do we have private quarters?
Yeah.
So I gather everybody and say, you guys are going to want to hear this. So this book, I'm starting to think it's not exactly what you guys were thinking of. I think it is a history. Like he mentions at the beginning, he doesn't want to lose the history of the dwarves, but it's also partly what you guys were looking for. So it tells how they defeated him and how they kept him defeated. So Thor's a lich, right? And so he keeps coming back to life. And that's a problem when you're trying to defeat an undead dude because you want him to stay dead. Undead's not quite the same as dead, but coming back's not so good. And so they didn't like that. And they figured out how to keep him from coming back. So they put him in a container of some sort with holy water. So he can't actually die. He can't actually stay alive, come back to life. He's just stuck, almost dead, and not able to move and broken. So that really seemed to work. So he returned to a place called Lapisalo in Nord, where he entombed him in a reinforced chamber behind something called a Daystar, which was the perfect defense because evil couldn't possibly enter the chamber that had the Daystar in it. So then no evil fiend could find the secret entrance to his resting spot up in the sky. So that's kind of, I think, how we fix it is so all we got to do is put this other dude in holy water and then hide him really good so nobody can get him and defend it just like they did the other one.
And make sure no one screws with that Daystar.
Exactly. Make sure nobody ever takes it. Hide and defend the Daystar really, really well so that it stays exactly where it is, protecting everything. So that's all we got to do is we got to get something like that and we stick the dude in the watery box and then we're all good.
I was hoping for a more permanent solution.
Well, this book was written like a long time ago. So it seems like it's a pretty permanent solution to fixing the problem.
As long as no one messes with that Daystar.
Right, and nobody's messed with the Daystar because it's been around forever.
Right, and I mean, why would anyone? That for safety's sake, we might want to send a message north. Where did you say it was?
Nord, a place called Lapisalo.
Okay, then we should send a message that says something like,
If you find a Daystar, leave it alone.
yeah, sure.
Okay. Who should we send it to?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, some, like, there's got to be some royalty in the north or something, right?
Burgermeister.
You got a Burgermeister?
Yeah, a Burgermeister. It's like somebody like a mayor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a mayor would be good. Send it to the mayor of Nord.
Or of Lapis something?
We'll just send it all over the place. Leave the Daystars alone. Wherever you find them, leave them alone.
Yes, I'll send a few messages. Probably, that would make sense. When we get where we're going, it'll be a couple days.
Yeah. So then we got to get one for Lucius, right?
That's correct.
To protect Lucius's watery box.
When I'm done with Gem Lucius, there won't be anything left to put in a watery
Except for he
box.
comes back. So we don't want him to come all the way back. We just want him to stay in his watery box.
Is there any way to stop him from coming back?
Well, that's what they did. They kept him in this watery box full of holy water so he couldn't heal and he couldn't die all the way. That's all I found so far.
Okay.
There must be a way to destroy one of these monsters and destroy them, not just store them away for a rainy day. And how do we get one of these day stars to keep them?
I'm not even sure what it is. All I know about it is that it means that evil things can't come in there. They can't enter the room where it is. So, whoa, that's pretty cool stuff.
But the Daystar might be gone already. We might actually need to find a Daystar.
Well, the Daystar's been there for like how long ago was this dude? Like this was forever ago. So long we don't even know about the dwarves, except for our friend Grun here. But you know, it's probably still there. Like it's been in the same spot forever. Oh, unless it was gone a long time ago. But no, then Glithor would have come back a long time ago. So I'm pretty sure it's just been around forever and nobody's ever seen it. So now we just got to find out how to get our own.
Oh, right. Or was your suggestion that we kill Gem Lucius and then take him to wherever the Daystar is and bury him there?
Oh, we could use the Daystar that's already existing. We might have to kill him a few times on the road, it sounds like. But that would work.
It would be my pleasure.
Or we could put him in the watery box and transport him in a watery box.
But he won't follow us there. He's already been... This has already happened to him. He just will avoid it. How do we get him there?
Well, I think we transport him in the watery box. No, I think we just almost kill him once and then put him in a watery box and then transport the watery box.
But we don't have a watery box.
Well, can anybody make holy water or a box?
It would be nice if we had someone handy.
Lignyck can make almost anything. He can probably make a box. Can you make a box, Lignyck, that the holy water won't fall out of?
How big?
Somehow I think a box is beneath Lignyck.
This is a special box. It's going to keep your lich in it. That's a good box to make, don't you think?
How big?
Big enough to fit a lich and a lot of holy water?
So, watertight coffin.
Yeah.
I promise to crumple him up real small.
And Grun, you're a priesty type dude. Can you make holy water?
I was just checking for what spell does that. I think it can.
Ceremony.
Yeah, it was ceremony. Yep, bless water. Touch one vial of water and cause it to become holy water.
You'll need quite a few to fill up the box.
And it's kind of a silly spell in that the costly component is the same as what it costs to buy holy water.
Seraphina, does this seem like a good plan to you, or are we missing anything?
Seraphina doesn't have a lot of knowledge about battling liches, so she doesn't really have anything to add on that front.
Sounds good. Just wanted to check to make sure we weren't overlooking something important.
Lignyck actually starts fidgeting with his tinker's tools while this conversation is going on.
Are you making a thing?
I'm starting to.
Kin Faewyn, does Noble Seraphina speak to you?
Well, speak. We can communicate. It was one of the things that I've been meaning to do. It's been a little busy since we fled from Steamton, so I was hoping on this journey we'd have a bit of a chance to talk.
Does Kin Lignyck speak to Krabby?
I can tell him what to do.
Does Kin Krabby speak to Kin Lignyck?
Un moment, por favor. Languages understands the languages I speak.
Yeah, but it doesn't have any mechanism to speak.
That implies no two-way communication.
So you just speak to it like a crazy person?
Anytime he wants to. Yep.
Like a pet.
Right, a crazy person.
But like Seraphina told me about the guards, well, she kind of also let me use her eyes. But she also would have told me. But it was easier to use her eyes because I know what guards look like better than she does, in terms of uniforms and stuff.
But if I get this right, and I often don't, Seraphina is a familiar, and that means she's actually not an owl.
Well, true. She's not actually an owl at all. I was going to ask her, I was going to have a bit of a chat with her on this journey, but we've been pretty busy so far. But maybe on the boat I'll have some time, now that we know how to store the lich in a box.
What do you want to chat with her about?
Well, I'd like to know things like why she joined me and what her goals are in this and things like that.
Well, yes, we absolutely want to know those things. If she has, goals and aspirations, we should respect them.
Exactly. And so far we've been mostly running for our lives, so we really haven't had a lot of chance to sit down and talk.
And she was at least partially instrumental in helping us get out of there, so we should find out what she wants.
Well, if we think nobody's going to try and kill us for the next few minutes, I'd love to take the time to chat with her.
I would like to tell you that no one's going to try and kill us for a couple days, but we'll keep our eyes open. I intend to work on this ship too, with whatever they'll let me help with. I think I need to keep
Well,
busy.
I've got a couple more chapters in the book, and I'd like to talk to Seraphina. But I think the important thing so far was that we know how to keep our lich in a box. So do you guys mind if I take a break and talk to Seraphina for a bit?
Yes, please, and thank her on my behalf for her service in getting us out of there alive and well.
I will. She was awesome. So Faewyn will kind of move to somewhere a little bit more private and see if Seraphina will come over.
Yeah, she will.
Seraphina, I didn't have a chance to thank you, but the whole group wants to thank you for helping us get out of the inn without anybody hurting us or having to hurt anyone. I really appreciate it.
It was my pleasure.
So we haven't had a chance to talk much since you joined me, and I was hoping we could. Do you have time for that right now?
It appears so. The threat slips behind us as we sail on.
So I guess my first question is, why did you join me? Because I did specify that I wanted somebody who wanted to join me and not had to join me, and you came.
Where I came from was torn apart by war. I was an angel in the service of Foltus, and while in that service, the gods Sharo and Dowreth returned with a terrible vengeance. They followed the soul of one of Foltus's faithful to find Foltus, and I fled and had been fleeing for some time. I don't know what happened to my god. I had wanted to reach out to a being known as an Asmar here and let her know what had happened, but I was always on the run. I never had time. So when I felt your call, I answered and I came, for this world provides me freedom to escape from the grasp of Sharo.
And that's why you don't trust Grun.
Exactly. I know how terrible Sharo and Dowreth are.
That is a very heavy story. Is there anything I can do to aid you?
Simply keep me here. I need to remain in this realm. If I return to the heavens, I may not be able to return here if I am found there.
Okay, that's very important information. I'll make sure to do that.
Thank you.
What are your goals while you are here?
Well, I warned you of Grun and his devotion. I feel powerless to stop what is coming, so my goal for the time being is to simply help you in any way that I can.
We're trying to stop things. It seems fairly big, and I've been through big things before, so trying to figure out a way to handle that. Do you happen to know anything about time magic?
No. What I do know, I don't know if it will be helpful to you or not, is that time flows differently in the heavens than it does here.
Really? In what way?
Your journey over the past day or two in Velshany is but the blink of an eye in the heavens.
So if we could get to the heavens, we'd have a lot more time to study things. Or is that the wrong way around? No.
Less time. If you
That would be problematic.
found a way to look down upon the world, you would see your travels happening incredibly quickly.
Well, then we need all the time we can get, so we can't go there right now. Well, that's helpful. Maybe I can figure, maybe there's other realms where time could pass slower so that I could do my research and then come back and turn it back time so that we can get all of the undead when they're little. And there's only like 2 or 3 because we can handle 2 or 3, no problem. That's what I'm trying to do.
It is a noble goal. I have never heard of time traveling backwards, but I do not know everything.
Yeah, no, it's a little new, but I'm really sure I can crack it.
Well, I wish you luck.
Thank you. Is there anything else that this Asmir, do you want me to try and get in touch with them? Do you know where they are?
She is in a far-off land in a city called Nordgard, and I cannot imagine a way that you would be able to send word to her.
We're trying to send a message to another city in Nord. I'm assuming Nordgard is in Nord somewhere?
Yes.
A name?
Yes.
So we're trying to send a message that way. We could try and send a message to her too, if you know her name and stuff.
That would be wonderful if you could. Her name is Miri Brightwood.
What would you like me to say to her?
Just let her know that I am well, and I'm sorry that I had to abandon her as I did.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you.
And hopefully she'll write back and let us know that she got the message.
Hopefully.
Is there anything else you'd like us to do, or that that we should talk about while we have a chance, while nobody's presently trying to kill us?
I can't think of anything, but if you have anything else that you would wish to talk to me about, I have much knowledge about the heavens, and I'm happy to share with you.
So, Ryan, she's source of knowledge, willing to answer questions. She will have 1 million of them. Would you like me to send you a written list later?
Sure, if you want.
Okie dokie.
she's gonna regret offering.
Like, source of knowledge to a place she can't have any access to herself. She's going to sit down with Seraphina for as long as she will tolerate it, or one of them needs to pass out.
How to alienate a familiar.
So, if you want to switch back to the rest of the group now, I'll get them to you between sessions.
Sounds good.
I've actually stopped reading, and I am creating woodworking tools for an hour.
But
Okay.
Faewyn will have conversations with Seraphina, finish this book, and start on whatever book she can next.
No rest for the wicked.
This is rest. This is the best. It's all good.
Skippy's gonna have a nap, I think.
That's fair.
Gaelen will only speak to his mother if she makes him. But he'll be looking for ways to help on the ship.
Okay. Yeah, the ship is fully crewed, so they don't need any help with any of that kind of stuff.
Gaelen will help anyway, unless they shoo him away.
Give me a perception check.
No, I can't see anything today.
You really can't.
It's just happened the time.
A 1, a 2, and a 3 on perception. Even with the +6 bonus, you're not seeing anything. Okay, so you make your way around the ship, attempting to help where you can. They kind of point at like a mop and pail, and say, "Well, we could use someone to swab the deck, I guess." That's the level of
He's
help.
happy to do it.
Okay, that's the level of help that they're willing to give you, because they've got everything else handled.
Yeah, Gaelen put in his time in a monastery. He's not above cleaning floors.
Faewyn is reading. Lignyck is building. Skippy is napping. Grun, what are you up to?
What time of day is it?
It is. By this point, it'll be after dinner.
Okay, I'm just thinking real quick here. Well, did any of the sailors look injured at all?
The sailors weren't involved in any fighting. All the fighting was at the walls, which were a fair distance away.
All right, and nobody in the party's hurt currently, right?
I don't think so. You guys didn't go towards the fight.
I just wasn't sure if there was any holdover damage, because if there is, then I would I'll just heal everybody up, and then yeah. Otherwise, I think Grin will just kind of stand off to the side and kind of enjoy. He grew up in Corthune, so he didn't really get to be on any ships, so this is a first for him.
Okay. And are you enjoying it in the cabin with everybody else, or up on deck?
If the sailors don't get get too upset with him being on deck, trying to stay out of the way, he'd like to kind of be on deck and see what's going on. Like I said, first time on a ship, he's kind of excited.
Sure.
Is it a fully elven crew?
It is. And as you're on deck, please give me a perception check as well.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness, somebody noticed. So while you're on deck, you're just marveling at being out on the open water like this, watching the coastline zip by so fast. You notice, you hear a door to one of the cabins open, the captain's quarters at the back of the ship. And no, there's no kraken. You notice a cloaked figure stepping out, and she takes a quick look around, like she's looking for trouble, before heading below decks. And you recognize her as one of the princesses.
Which one? The older one or the younger one?
Yes.
It was Princess Montharia, the younger one.
Okay, and I'm assuming, is she in like commoner's garb, or is she still in kind of like high class wear? Was she trying to like disguise her face?
She wasn't trying to disguise herself at all. But she does have a long cloak wrapped around herself. It looks very finely made.
Okay, and she came out from the same area that we would be.
No, she went down to the same area that you are in. She came out of the captain's quarters.
I'm going to just head back downstairs and see if I notice what room she enters, and then head back to the cabin with the rest of the party.
She enters into a cabin that's actually just right next to yours. And when she enters, a guard steps out and is dressed in full royal guard regalia.
So not being like super subtle. Okay, I'll head back to our cabin.
You walk past the guard and get into the cabin, no problem.
Hey guys, and Grun's trying to whisper right now. But I'm not gonna actually whisper. So hey, I think at least one of the princesses is our next door neighbor.
King Grun, I told you before that was drunken rambling.
No. The princess in the wizard's tower was drunken rambling.
That's right.
Yes, the younger princess of the two that we saw at the ceremony is our next door neighbor, given the royal guard that is standing outside of the doorway and the fact that I just watched her walk in there.
Princess Montharia, are you sure?
With that role, I'm going to say Grun is quite confident that he knew exactly who that was.
Galen's going to look around at the people working the ship and get a sense of whether or not these are...
Well, we're in our cabin right now, aren't we? Oh wait, you were up on deck as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually in the cabin, so I forgot you're not actually there.
Oh. Never mind.
Yeah.
And I'm in there, but I'm kind of snoozing.
And Lignyck and Faewyn have their noses buried in books, so I don't know if there's actually anyone for you to talk to.
Yep, Princess in the Tower.
Then then I head back over to back out to Gaelen. I mean, I wanted to be on the deck, and there's somebody I can talk to up there.
Okay.
And if I see Gaelen sitting there mopping the deck, I will look around for another mop and bucket and give him a hand while telling him what I just saw.
Jim Princess Montharia, are you sure?
Yes, quite sure. Very confident.
So Gaelen will have a look around at the sailors and try and get a sense of whether or not these are sea-hardened sailors or royal guards.
Give me an insight check.
Dun dun dun.
You're fairly certain that they are sailors.
And that they have no idea who they have on board.
I mean, they're just going about their business as normal sailors do. So if they do know, they're not like broadcasting it.
Well, I think this is good.
Yes, I think the captain knows what's going on because she came from his cabin, but then she returned directly to her quarters. I don't imagine that we will see much of them if they are both there.
You only saw one of the sisters?
Only the youngest, and a royal guard. When she entered the room, the guard exited and remained stationed outside the door.
Shall we go say hi?
I'm not 100% certain that is wise to just walk up to say hello right now.
Do you think they'll throw us off the boat?
There's no way to say they won't for certain, but then also we don't know her intents in staying hidden.
Well, what we do know is that one of the royal princesses is fleeing Velshini. She would leave on a royal vessel otherwise.
Well, I don't believe there's a question that she's fleeing, but why she is fleeing and what...
Well, her mother was just murdered.
Yes, but is she fleeing that? Is she fleeing the undead? And if she's here, where's the other princess?
Let's go ask her.
If you think so, I'll follow.
Gaelen will march down there.
Okay, you march down there and you see a royal guard who sees you immediately and watches you closely.
Good day, Gem Guard.
He just stares at you.
I would like to speak with the princess, if I may.
Don't know what you're talking about. There's no princess here.
Have you not looked inside the room that you are guarding?
Nope.
Well, I assure you there is one of the royal princesses inside. Now that you know that, I'd like to speak with her.
I'm afraid I don't trust your judgment. Move along.
Look, you. We are on this ship with you. We're clearly going to the same place. And clearly none of us want anyone to know that.
Are we now?
Would you please let whomever is in that room, which by the way is the princess, if you haven't been following along, that Gaelen Elmthorn would like to speak with her if she has a moment. Also, deepest regrets for what happened to her mother. Thank you.
Persuasion roll.
Wow.
It's pretty decent.
You didn't ask for perception, so...
At mention of the queen, you see his face soften slightly. And he says, Elmthorn, eh? Any relation to Kerman?
Yes. I mean, yes.
It's one of the finest elves I've ever known.
Me too.
If the princess were in her cabin, I might tell her that you're on the ship. And if said non-existent princess decided she wanted to pass on a message, I would knock on your door and deliver it later.
More than fair. Thank you. If you could also tell any hypothetical princesses that noble Gem Isildia, Gem Elder Carmen's wife, is also on the ship.
If there was a princess to pass a message on to about that sort of thing, I would.
Thank you. Glad there isn't. See you around.
Farewell.
Skippy and Grun? That wasn't that hard.
I'm glad it went smoothly. You never knew what could happen.
Do you think that if noble Skippy was here, he'd be preaching discretion?
Almost definitely. I don't think Skippy preaches anything other than discretion and more discretion.
That sounds about right.
Well, we should likely head back to the cabin and take some rest at this point. I don't think there's much else we can do but prepare for the next day.
We should at least make sure everyone knows. Did you let people know that?
The gnomes were deep into their books, and Skippy seemed deep into sleep, so there was not really anyone to tell. Which is why I returned to find you on the deck. I think for right now, it's probably best to leave them to that readings, and then when they're ready in the morning, we can discuss our new information with them.
That sounds good. Yes, it has been a long day, and perhaps tomorrow we'll have to explain to Gem Princess Montharia that I'm the new queen.
Well, that's going to be a very interesting talk, I'm sure.
Okay, we'll head back to our cabin. Are we all sharing a cabin, or?
Yes. Yeah, there are several sets of bunk beds in here. More hammocks than beds. And there's more than enough space for all of you.
Okay, we'll get a reasonably early evening, or early night.
It's about 7 o'clock by the time you guys head back in.
Have I finished the War of Light and Dark?
Sure.
Would you guys like to know how this book ends?
Yes,
I mean,
wake me up.
definitely.
Skippy, wake up. She's about to give us the ending. So far, it's been a history book.
Yeah, it's a history book, but I'll tell you the ending because some of this is pretty relevant. So, told you how no evil could enter the chamber, making sure that no evil things could find the secret entrance to Thor's final resting place up in the sky because it had the perfect defense, the Daystar, and all was well there. Well, after that, we don't know why, but the gods disappeared. Does that sound familiar? Taking with them their divine powers, and some of them, like the Elvish cities, fell right out of the sky. Boom! And dwarven temples were in chaos, and everybody was freaked right out, except for the druids and the followers of the Stormlord. They didn't seem to really have any problems, although a bunch of them died too. And the event was called Godfall. The Stormlords, some of his people were really mad though because he didn't warn them at all, because he still had power and they thought he should have. But anyway, lots of people died. All the gods went away, and yeah, it was a pretty bad time. Some of that sounded kind of like things nowadays. And then anyway, there was a new god of creation that came about called Moradin, and he took the dwarves as some of his people after Godfall, but they didn't do so well because they'd had some really tough times first fighting with the elves and then being on the same side as the elves and fighting with the undead, and you know what? They just couldn't recover. So this dude that's writing it, he's like, nights falling on the dwarves, and it sounds really grim, and he's like, there's still a few people that are living outside the cities where there's still land, but Thorbald's Deep, it says it's totally empty. There's nobody in there, and Gortberg, built near the top of a mountain, it's entirely empty, and both of the outpost entrances at the top of the mountain are abandoned. So if any enemy comes, it can get them. Whew, right, just get them. And then, so he's like, he's going to go travel and take the book and find a hiding place to keep the knowledge safe and make sure that nobody ever forgets the dwarves. And it seems like people a little bit forgot the dwarves, so the book didn't do everything he meant for it to do. But I've read it now, and I'm telling all you guys this, and we've got Grun with us, and he's kind of a weird sort of funky dwarf, I guess. Not really a normal kind, sorry, Grun, but you know, he'll do. Any questions?
Well, King Grun is the best derp I know.
Me too.
I'm really starting to wonder whether I should be taking this as an offensive term or not.
As long as you don't start hating elves, it will be fine.
Does it say how the gods came back?
No, it just says a new one rose.
It sounded like you were reading a lot of things that were actually happening now. And
That's why I thought it was so interesting.
And that's impossible, because a lot of those things didn't happen until after King Skippy stole the book.
Well, except for they happened a long time ago to the dwarves. It made the dwarves go away. So kind of hope it doesn't make everybody who's around now go away. That would suck. So we got to fix this.
That's what it seemed, so they don't. That's what it seemed, so they made the gnomes go away.
Yeah, I don't want the gnomes to go away either.
Well, no, I don't think any of us want the gnomes to go away.
But yeah, it seemed kind of like the same stuff that's going on right now, except for it happened way back then. And same thing. Stormlord was fine. Druids were fine. Oh my god, you guys. Oh my god, I figured it out.
That
Time
is wonderful.
repeating itself. It's got to be a time thing. Time is repeating itself.
Wasn't there something about a ground-dwelling rodent?
Oh, you meaning the what kind of rodent are you talking?
Some fable about a time repeating itself on a ground. It's unimportant.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
In the morning, perhaps we will be able to figure out what the meaning of some of these things that you have that the gnomes have been figuring out, and maybe we can share them with Princess Montharia.
I should definitely do more time research. But anyway, I thought I should let you know because the end of the book sounds an awful lot like what's going on now, which is weird.
I would have been happier if it was just going to be a history book that the last chapter would have been cheery.
Yeah, I don't think all of the dwarves dying and this guy trying to save his book so that somebody knows that the dwarves were alive at one point in time, I don't find that very cheery.
So why does the Lich want this book so bad?
If I had to guess, I would say because he wants to wake up Glithor, and it does tell exactly what Glithor is trapped by, and he wouldn't want anybody else to know how to trap him. So I can see him, A, wanting this book if he wants to get the other Lich alive, or B, wants to make sure we can't make him like that. And so if he knew about it, he could know that he should look for this Daystar thing and try and find that, and if he could find that, then he could find the dude.
Yes, and that would be very bad if Gem Lucius found out that all he needed to do was go up there and muck around with this Daystar just to let all hell loose. So let's not let him know that.
Well, he'd need to get something good to be able to go in there because evil things can't get near it. But if he could find somebody good, then he could get to it.
But then he'd have to convince them to go in and get it. And what are the chances of that?
Well, depends if they didn't know what they were doing. People have tricked people before.
So we're supposed to be going to Thorn's Deep, but there's nothing there. So why are we going there then?
Well, if we do want to destroy the book, going there is the only place that the book's protections aren't really valid anymore.
We still have to destroy the book, because the information that is in that book can lead to someone going up and mucking with the Daystar. So we do still have to destroy the book.
Okay.
We also have to completely forget about the mucking with the Daystar bit. It should be no problem for me.
Forget? What do you mean by forget?
It's what you do right after you learn something.
Okay, I can do exactly what I do right after I learn something. No problem. But I don't think that's usually the same thing that people mean when they mean forget.
What we mean is currently ignore the option.
Well, yeah, the Daystar's been there for I don't know, forever, thousands of years, or however long ago the dwarves were around. Can wait for longer. It's been safe all this time. I don't see why it wouldn't be safe now.
No, I agree. It would be a fluke. But when we get where we're going, we'll send some messages north, and obviously we're not going to say, hey, nobody go and muck with the Daystar. But we should. I don't know. I'll leave that to smart people. You figure it out.
Yeah, we'll send something to the mayors. That's what we figured, right? We'll figure out how to word it then.
Yeah, we'll have to word it carefully, as to not actually give the information away if it were intercepted. So yes, the Princess Gem Montharia is on this ship, by the way. Kingrun is reasonably certain he saw her. So we are not the only people fleeing incognito. I don't know what that means. You
used it exactly right.
No, of the word, but I don't know what it means that she's fleeing as well, and her mother was just murdered.
So
there's all kinds
of
of
question because I don't know the politics of this. Is there any chance she was part of that?
Like murdering her mother?
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe. I'm not certain that either of the daughters were going to be accepted as the new ruler. Anyway, but if one was, it would have been Princess Gemulariel.
And that's not the one we've got fleeing?
That's not the one we have fleeing. Well, I don't know if both princesses are down there. We've only seen one. There's all kinds of possibilities. I don't know what makes sense. The daughters could theoretically be responsible for their mother's death. I would highly doubt it, but stranger things have happened. It would make more sense if it was a sure thing that Princess Gemulariel would take the throne immediately on her mother's death. It would make more sense that she was complicit. But
so you're not being queen, and I don't get to be the watcher of the books.
I was still knighted, I think.
Are you going to tell this princess that?
I suppose it will probably come up as this ship is headed towards my city.
I was going to say, I think it wouldn't be the worst idea if we're trusting her that far to let her know that you are the Lord, because inevitably the question is going to come up with where the Queen's sword is, and we'll have to give that back.
Wait, Kingrun, did you say we have to give the sword back?
Yes, I would imagine so. I mean, if we tell them you were knighted, the only way you could have been knighted was with the Queen's sword, so they're going to want it back.
Is the sword special?
Well, it's the Queen's sword.
It's the Queen's sword, and when Gaelen was knighted, it glowed.
And it felt tingly. I
guys didn't mention that before.
I can't return the sword, Kingrun, because we left the sword at my mother's when we retrieved her.
I'm sure that'll go over very well with the princess.
I think that Skippy was right in his worry that if we are found with the Queen's sword in our possession, that it would imply some wrongdoing.
Then maybe we keep your newfound lordship quiet for now.
Why?
Well, once again, we still come to the question of how did you become the lord of this place if you were not knighted? So you would have to have been knighted, so we had to have the Queen's sword, and she knows that the Queen didn't knight us because she was there. So eventually we have to explain where the sword was.
I sure hope the queen wasn't murdered with her sword.
It has crossed my mind. I think that honesty is the best policy in every step.
Gaelen, these are the matters of your hometown. I will follow you on whatever you decide.
I think that we are honest to those who we decide to be honest with or to speak with at all. And they make their choices, and we will respond to those choices.
Okay, we will await a message from the princess, and if she wishes to meet, we can speak with her then. Until then, thank everybody, get a good night's rest, and we shall see what comes with the morning.
What are you making, Kin Lignyck?
People were asking if I could make a watertight box.
Okay, so you're making the tools to make a watertight box.
Yes. It's easier than carrying all the tools around with me that I could use. I just make the ones I need when I need them.
Where are you going to get the wood from?
I figured I'd have the tools ready, and then when I came across stuff, I'd use it.
Okay.
Whether it's loose wood on the ship, or whether it's driftwood, or whether it's stuff we find when we get where we're going.
Well, once you have the box, I can begin creating holy water to fill it.
Well, noble Lignyck, you know how much I love watching you work. But I've got an elven reformation to plan, my mother to talk to, a lich to murder, and a demi-lich to frame for it. I'm swamped.